We got this awesome new theme called Singularity Bones. Somebody told me we got muted last week, and I think it was the stuff I played before the show, which was some Modern Warfare music, which should have been okay because that stuff's approved on Twitch, so I don't know why I didn't. However, if it is your theme, Bo, that would be a hoot, because that means that somebody thinks your song is theirs even though it's yours, and that's dumb. But let's test it.
Bo did it just for fun.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm going to get this Johnson guy.
Yeah.
Get him pulled off YouTube.
Well, it was only Twitch that did it. YouTube didn't care. So everything's upside down. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this world.
I can show them where I made it. I have the project file.
Dude, you have prior art, they call it. That's the legal, you have the legal weight behind you of prior art. And that means that people won't even take you to court. Like, it's just dumb algorithms. That's all it is. So here we go. That's my new band, Dumb Algorithms. I'm going to play bass for them. All right, here it is. The show starts with a rad new theme, and it begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Core. This is Core episode, I don't know. We don't really do numbers on here, do we? 208, we'll say. January 30th, 2020. I'm Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz, John Jagger. We're all here. Thursday, not Wednesday this week. I helped a friend move yesterday, move some stuff. And I think I tweaked my back, but I kind of knew that was going to happen if I went. And I did. But, you know, sometimes you do what you can for your friends. And
wait, I want to get back to your move for a second, but it actually is episode 208.
It is, 208. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, we've done 208 episodes. That seemed way off. I was laughing.
You thought that was too many? Or
I thought it was way off. I thought it was like 136 or like it's 208 or something.
No, 208, man.
Wow.
We're deep into it. This is a thrill a minute. Yeah.
So you didn't hurt your back yesterday?
No, I did. I think it was from... Here's my problem. I don't stretch enough. I know this is true. It's been true my whole life. When I'd play basketball, I wouldn't stretch enough. And I'd go out there and I'd hyperextend something or tweak my ankle or do something that I know I could have helped if I just did a little stretching before the game. But here's my belief on stretching. You looked real stupid doing it. And so I don't like doing it in front of other people. And that's my dumb reasoning. And yesterday I probably could have done some private stretching before this move, but also my back's shitty. It's just a big, long, dumb story. But yeah, nonetheless, you got to help your friends when they need you. And,
I mean, it's super kind of you because you had a prior commitment.
Right.
You're prone to back problems.
Mm-hmm.
You have every right and reason to go, I don't want to help you move, which is the right choice.
Right. And I still
you did it anyway.
I still did it.
You know, I feel like you've earned some karmic good favor right there.
Well,
with that,
I hope so.
You could have done it guilt-free. I would have just been like, nah, I can't, man.
Yeah. I'm ready to collect.
Why? And I would have been like, I don't know, I got a tiny car.
I'm ready to collect on that karma. Let's get the payout. Okay. When does the payout happen? I don't know. Is it supposed to be monthly, quarterly? I don't know how it works.
Right now, we're doing a show.
Oh, good. Let all the karma flood in and bury us in its warm embrace. Because
what was your least favorite thing to move?
Beds and mattresses. Because
wasn't anything in particular yesterday that was bad. You know, usually I hate giant shelves that you can't get around corners. You know, you're putting it one way and then upright, then left, right, and it just won't go, and you can't take it apart.
I also don't like those. I don't like hutches for the same reason. You know what a hutch is? You ever have a hutch?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like a hutch because
that, right?
Yes, and I don't like them because hutches are useless and stupid to begin with. They're just a place to display your dumb dishes and your stupidity trinkets, and it's dumb. So don't.
Stupidity trinkets.
And they weigh a ton, and they're all oak, and they're just like a billion pounds. Like, why are you doing that? So that's dumb. But the reason I don't like mattresses is twofold. One, they are really unwieldy no matter how many people are moving like a king-size mattress. They're just flopping on all over the place. They're hard to get around corners. They're pushing people out of the way. They're just awful. But the other reason, and you have to hold them weird because there's nowhere to grab them really. Some of them have a handle, but they tear off easy. Like all kinds of stuff like that. But here's the other problem. This didn't happen last night, but if you ever move somebody and you're moving their mattress, don't be surprised to notice as you look down at the thing and you're trying to move it that within some inches of your nose is a giant pee stain or something like it, an equivalent. Like a big old barf patty was there, or a dog peed there, or the guy peed there, or whatever.
Sorry, like on a bed mattress, you're saying?
Yeah, like a bed mattress.
There's stains.
Yeah.
Stains are on mattresses.
It's gross.
Among other things, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It could be a lot.
that's usually the last. Those are the. I'm usually thinking it's like something else. And I'm like, I don't want to touch this. Like, I want to touch this as minimally as possible.
Yeah.
As
I mean, that's true.
least amount of surface area contacting my skin as possible.
Yeah.
Like mattresses are kind of like the realm where it is from. Like you all float down here. Like it all goes in there.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Like
that's
everything, sweat.
Yeah,
pee,
pee. A little bit of skin exfoliation ends up in there.
Yeah, the skin will get in there. Other things, I don't know what you do.
Scab, toenails.
Yep.
Bodily fluids. Yeah, mattresses
drool,
are freaking
maybe
gross.
You're not on your pillow, you just drool right into the mattress.
We have a chain of there's a place here. There's a bunch of places here that's a lot like Goodwill. We have Goodwill as well, but they're like Goodwill. They're called the DI. It's short for Deseret Industries. Anyway, it's like a charity thing. You take your old furniture or clothes there, and they refurb it and then sell it for cheap to people with lesser means and all that sort of stuff. It's a good thing, but they a couple of years ago just said no more mattresses. That's it. I'm not taking those anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm like, even they won't take them. They won't take an old mattress and try to refurb that thing up. And as the British say, you should just tip them, which I guess is just putting them on the curb and hoping someone takes it away.
Too many people got sick and they get complaints, and that's not what they're there to do, right? Like,
right.
I mean,
probably, or it's just
somebody
gross.
got crabs and they donate their mattress.
That'll go in the mattress.
And they don't delouse it properly, if that's even possible.
Yeah, but then here we
Game
are.
over, man.
We go to hotels. We get in those nasty beds. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's gross.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hotels are awful.
They are
Do
awful.
we have a hotel story today?
Do you have one? I have.
No, I think there's a hotel story in our list of notes.
Oh, there is. We should talk about it.
I've been thinking about hotels because of what was put in there.
We'll jump straight to it. Atari wants to make video game themed hotels, specifically Atari hotels, not just video game themed. Like they're not going to get the rights to have like a Nintendo wing or something. It is going to be Atari ass hotel. The outside's going to look like a big Atari logo thing. Inside, I assume everything will be wood paneling and bad switches. I don't know how they'll do it, actually.
Yeah, like what is that Atari themed? Like, what do they mean by themed?
I don't know. They've been really, really short on details, except to say they're doing multiples of these all over the country. One in San Francisco, one in New York, one in... So, it's just nuts to me that this is happening.
Atari still exists.
They do. Yeah.
I mean, yes, and I think you've stumbled onto the weird reason why they're making hotels, because even Atari's like, I don't know, what do we do? What are we now? And someone goes, well, we're a name with history.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, that's true. That is us. We making anything? Nuh-uh. All right, well, let's just put our brand on stuff.
It feels like the only place...
Atari has a console.
Yeah, but that's a different group is making that weird console.
It's called Atari VCS.
Right. This is a thing. Got delayed, but it's still coming.
Basically Stadia?
It's more like Ouya, except a lot more powerful. So here's what I know about that device. There's going to be a ton of, when you get it, you'll just have a ton of crappy Atari games on it, which does not interest me in the least. But apparently it's powerful enough to run other stuff. And some of that may be exclusives they're trying to secure. Some of that may be just straight up PC games. I don't think it's going to run Windows though, so I don't know. Probably it's some Android fork or something if I had to guess. I kind of don't have a lot of interest in it other than I think the outside of it looks really cool. Just a neat design that's sort of retro and modern at the same time, which is kind of cool. But nobody wants that joystick. Nobody wants any of that stuff. I mean, they are going to ship it with a regular
an Xbox version of the Atari controller, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and this even has sandbox mode, install any operating system. That seems, I think somebody will be interested in a sandboxable console. But yeah, they're not trying to dethrone Atari. They're not coming after the big boys with this thing.
No, it's a weird niche product, and it may
so to John's point, it's a weird jump, right? Like I always feel like the part where I get a Bow themed hotel is that between now and when I get my Bow themed hotel, there's a lot of steps I haven't gotten to yet to like make that deal happen and then make it something people want to go to, right?
I really want to tell me about the amenities. Tell me about the amenities of the Beau Hotel. I want to hear about this. What are you going to have?
Hotel?
Yeah, what are you going to have?
Everything will have what do they call those things? The water toilets, bidet.
Water
bidet
toilets.
Equipped.
Beau hotels come equipped with water toilets.
Ample seating on the toilet, very important.
Yeah.
Nice, comfortable throne experience.
Uh-huh.
Good water pressure in the showers.
Okay.
You'll get a bar of soap for each of your guests, and not just one.
Oh, this seems like
You
it's
get
based
enough
on
soap
some
for everyone.
specific experience that you may have had, and then
Yeah,
it
Make
stuck
sure
with
you
you.
check in with our concierge Boof Foom.
What's a boofoom?
I don't know, a kind of name that you would give somebody.
No, what was it? Didn't I leave lint on the soap when we shared a hotel room? That's what I
Yeah.
said.
You
You did.
did.
You
I
did.
knew
Yeah.
where that soap had been.
Yep.
Yeah, in my butt.
Yep.
Speaking of not wanting to touch mattresses,
Yeah, no
John
kidding.
didn't want to touch my mattress.
Yeah, 2017
Um,
rough mattress year in BlizzCon
So
history.
what else would be in this hotel? I don't know.
You'd
I
have
assume I'd
D&D.
hire
Would you have
somebody to do that.
dedicated D&D rooms with like tables set up and people could play D&D and all that? You'd go all nerdy with it, would you, or no?
I mean, it's a hotel. Like, I'm assuming people want to leave it and not stay there and play D&D. Like, I haven't been to Las Vegas. I have a very limited idea of what a hotel.
Oh yeah, see Vegas.
Be
That's
useful,
probably because
so.
Vegas would change your mind on that a little bit anyway. Because
Yeah.
Vegas is all about. I mean, not that you couldn't go to a million places while you're in Vegas, but what those big casinos try to do is attract you to their stuff. So they want you in their pool. They want you on their floor gambling. They want you to see their nightclub, their bars, their restaurants, and all that sort of thing. So it's very different than your, just a hotel to stay the night. And that's how I would picture you. Beau would be a full-on like casino-style hotel.
Right.
And then what would your logo? Let's talk logo and exterior design here. Would be like a big bearded, smiley guy on the front.
I feel like if my face is on a hotel, it's a hotel not getting a lot of clientele. Come stay at my hotel.
It's just his face. You have to walk into his mouth, and it just goes as he opens his mouth.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's pretty good. What if it's okay, let me think here. What if
I don't really want a hotel. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this really isn't a product that really aligns with my.
I like that this was supposed to be us talking about what an Atari hotel would be,
All
and
right.
we instantly became more interested in the Beau Hotel,
Yep.
which is maybe everything you need to know about the Atari
Yeah,
Hotel.
that speaks about how interesting an Atari hotel sounds.
I mean, I will go to an Atari hotel and I will stay there if they make one and it's reasonable because I want to experience that at least once to see what that even is. But I just don't know how it sounds like a viable business. It seems crazy to me. Like what
if Atari hired a bunch of developers,
Yeah.
like video game developers?
Okay.
I guess I should be clear. And really top tier talent, put this hotel money into paying them well, to put them on projects that they were passionate about and create fun video games.
Mm.
And instead of becoming synonymous with games that no longer exist and are older and outdated, they became synonymous with new quality video games all over again.
Wow. That is crazy talk, but I think I like where you're headed there.
So you're
Weird
suggesting
thought.
taking the workers and having them live there and work there?
No, he's saying don't do hotels. Instead, be true to your lineage and become a great video game company again.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Which
Okay.
I don't disagree with. I mean, Atari used to do things on the side or with partners that I liked. You remember Tron 2.0? They did that.
Yeah.
Or they published it.
I remember you talking about it. and
Tron
liking it
2.0
quite a
is
bit.
great. That's a freaking great shooter. It may not look great now. I don't know, but it was pretty good in its day.
They did some stuff. It's not unheard of. It's not like they didn't do anything before, but they have kind of just become a name that's synonymous with what they did in the past. And okay, that's fine, except none of those games really fly anymore these days.
Yeah.
Where's the hotel going? Do we know?
Space.
No, there's a bunch of cities. They announced a few cities. They announced San Francisco, New York, LA, I think. It's all American stuff, maybe possibly Canada. I don't know. I don't know where the list is.
Yeah, this seems like a failure waiting to happen. Does anyone want an Xbox hotel?
No.
Does anyone want a PlayStation hotel?
No.
a PC gaming hotel that's run on PC
But
computers.
oddly, I do want a Nintendo hotel.
Oh, dude, I want that Nintendo theme thing they're doing in Japan, Disney. It's Universal, isn't it? Whoever it is, Universal Studios in Japan, I think, is doing a deal. They're making Nintendo Land in Japan,
Yeah.
not here, but Japan, and I kind of want to go see that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, Nintendo makes sense because it's so magical land to begin with, like games and stuff.
Right.
I feel like that makes sense.
Right. So let's see. I can tell you the name. Okay, it's called Super Nintendo World. Oh, it is coming to Orlando. What? Okay, I would have to go to that. Anyway, it says they're going to have oh wow. Okay, there's some cool renders of it. And there's all sorts of Mushroom Kingdom bullshit happening. There's a great looks like Mario Kart track in the middle of this thing. Yeah, I'm all in. I would love to do this.
It's hard to think of a Nintendo IP that couldn't be converted into a theme park event of some kind.
Yeah,
I feel
an
like,
attraction.
I feel like Scott
Luigi's
just
Haunted
solved
House, done.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
it. Yeah.
Mario Kart.
yep.
You know, Zelda, like walk around a town and swing a sword or something. Like do that.
That's an attraction right there.
Yeah. Well,
Open a big
What,
chest.
what do? We make a little town. You go in with a sword. You swing it around.
You-
That's an attraction.
You'd have a whole zone that could look like Animal Crossing. You could have,
Donkey Kong rail car ride.
oh my gosh, dude, there's so much like that. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like roller coasters are simple. You just theme them after something. It's like Wario's Wild Ride. I can see it now. I'm gonna win, and then you just start going in loops and everything's shitty because Wario freaking sucks. And
Wario is what you brand your shop with, because then you just call it WarioWare. Like
Oh, I see.
Like you wear it though.
oh, that's right. That's the store in the middle of the thing because there's always
Oh, yeah.
shopping.
The one
Waluigi. What
thing
does
that
Waluigi get? What did we do for Waluigi? Do we have a thing?
Yeah, I
for
was
him?
gonna say you can't forget Waluigi because the internet will light itself on fire.
He's the cashier in
Oh, that's
WarioWare.
terrible. We're gonna get emails about that. People love Waluigi. I don't. I think he's annoying. Can't stand him. I love Wario though. Wario's one of my favorite ancillary Mario characters. But just
I think what people like Waluigi is because of how stupid. It's ironic. Like it's
Yeah.
because of how stupid a character it is.
Like Wario's actually good. Waluigi's just preposterous.
yeah, it's pretty dumb. I'm just looking at some notes here. Oh my gosh, this website's
It's the
giving me so many
literal
pop-ups.
definition of low effort. It's like we have a bad guy Mario. Oh, let's turn his M upside down. It's Wario, clever. We have a bad guy Luigi. What do? Just add the other guy's W at the front of his name and change his colors and call it. He's got a mustache.
Oh, they have a trailer for this.
For the Mario Land?
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Although the link isn't working, so great trailer website. Okay, well apparently they've got some kind of website. Mario's like hanging out with people and in little CGI form, and they're all wearing Mario hats with the M on it. And Mario clearly the lord of all he surveys. But I mean, they could
And-
do some really creative stuff with Smash Brothers. Just the fact that all those IPs are mushed together. The Pokemon area alone would be huge. I know they don't own all of Pokemon, but they own a significant part of it. Like they could just go nuts. I mean, I would absolutely love a place like this.
I wouldn't want to be one of the guys in a Koopa outfit though, because all the kids would be trying to jump on me to get my shell and stuff.
That's right.
True.
Kicked my kids all day and hit with hammers.
You could be a Hammer Brother and just throwing them at people the whole time, and then jump occasionally, and then keep
Sir,
throwing them.
sir, the Koopa is hitting my child with a hammer.
Yeah. Or you could be a shy guy and just not talk to anyone. See? Get it? Shy guys, get it?
I got
Yeah.
it.
I like shy guys.
Or Boo. You could be a Boo, and you just close your eyes when you look at them, and then you turn away and they follow you. Those things are creepy, dude. Never trust those bastards.
Well,
Anyway,
apparently I'm going to be one of the first ones to find out what an Atari Hotel is, because apparently the first one opens up here. So
Phoenix.
I will
Oh,
report back.
We need you live on location. Can we do a core where you're, hello, this is John, live on location? Maybe
Yeah.
we can pre-record it or something, but
Yeah.
still.
Why not?
Yeah.
You
I'll
seriously
go.
would you will you know what we'll do a little fundraiser and just get John a night or two in the thing.
GoFundMe.
We'll just get the fans. We'll do a little thing. They'll donate, and John can go stay a night at the Atari Hotel.
I
will
mean,
do
the
that.
good news is if the earlier you go, the less likely there's anything unfortunate and invisible in the hotel room you're staying in. So go early.
I
Yeah.
want you to get up to
Before I
the.
look under the bed and Miss Pac-Man's under there.
No, that's Namco World. You can't, or Namco Hotel. You can't do
Oh,
that.
my bad.
Yeah.
Or you could play that on Atari, right?
Yeah, but do you remember what that looked like? It was the dots were long bars. Even the art on the front showed a Pac-Man guy with legs and arms, but with a big yellow head, jamming bars like chocolate into his mouth. And the game itself, it was a bad Pac-Man.
Can you imagine if Pac-Man that released today for gamers? Like they get the box and they see Pac-Man with the arms and the legs.
Yeah.
And then they'd see Pac-Man in game without arms and legs, and then Red would be like, "They ripped us off!
Yeah.
Atari corrupt."
This is what you'd say.
Practices.
You'd say this.
Activate Pac-Man.
Activate Pac-Man.
Activate Pac-Man.
Let's
Oh, I
play
remember
Pac-Man.
that. I sent you that.
That was from you.
A long time ago,
That was
yeah.
from John. This Japanese guy trying really hard not to have a Japanese accent.
Activate Pac-Man.
It's really rough, but I love it. Anyway, what was my whole point there? Oh, John, if you do it, you got to go to the front desk and say, "Excuse me, I'd like the Yar's Revenge suite," and just see what they say to you. See what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
I'll do this.
That'd be great.
I will be our go-to.
All right. You can be the guinea pig. Oh, something I just was talking about on TMS today. Do you guys know that there's a guinea pig version of guinea pigs now that have no hair? They're kind of like Sphinx cats. They're like totally like naked guinea pigs. I want one.
How is that a better thing?
It's a better thing because they don't have all that dumb fur, and that's it. I don't know what else to say about it. They just look like little men, little naked bald men just running around.
Hey,
what?
you can get one of those. There's plenty of those in this world right now. You can go get one just about anywhere.
What, a naked bald man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, all right. Well, what if I shave my own and then just upkeep? I'm sure that would be
Actually, they
no
do
problem.
look better without hair on.
Isn't it cool?
Do
They're
they
cool
really?
looking.
Hold
Yeah.
on, I gotta see this.
Hairless
They look like a Star Wars creature.
guinea
Yes.
pigs. Here we go.
I'll look at so it's high up on the list.
Oh,
You know
look
what?
at them. They're so cute.
You know what? Kind of looks better.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, they don't have all that weird, like, matted cowlick fur and all that.
Some turn out better than others.
I mean, they're a lot more pig-like. The pig name finally works a little. But some of them are adorable. I want one.
This one, hold on. I'm going to put it in Discord. This one looks like he saw you having private time in your house.
What? Wait, what? All right, hold on. Oh gosh, yeah, he
he's
does.
shocked.
He does. Yeah, but look at this one. It looks like a little black hippo-looking thing. Almost
Yeah.
like a dog.
Yeah,
even.
sometimes they look like little hippos, and that's pretty great.
Yeah. Anyway, I want that. Sorry, chat, we can't show you because I'm just not showing you.
We can't because we won't.
Because we don't want to. Okay, that's just how it's gonna be. Anyway, I'm really into hairless animals. That is true. All right, seriously, I want a Sphinx cat. I don't want any hair. I don't want hair on my animals. I want them smooth like dolphins.
You're still a furry if you like the animals furries are based on, but don't like the fur.
Oh, that's
so.
interesting. I don't know. How does that
Are, you
work?
are they baldies?
The one
do they
I
have their own
just sent
subgroup?
is the reaction to that question. It's him trying to figure it out.
Are they baldies? Look, we have a fair number of furry folk in the community. It's one of you guys is just.
We already got our answer. The answer is yes.
Okay. The answer is, yeah, someone said it's PGH Fur says yes. All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Well, that's it with the Atari deal. Hey, Warcraft 3 Reforged came out, and
Nobody had anything else to say.
yeah, it was just a
about
quiet launch. No uproar or freak out or anything. No, I'm sorry. I'm being told in my ear now it was nothing but uproar and freak out, which is a little bit weird because I played it the day of and I was playing the game and it seemed fine. There's a couple of bugs I ran into. I haven't finished it, but I did enough to know that it is definitely Warcraft 3 remastered in a lot of ways. A lot of graphical improvements. In some ways, if you stand back, it actually looks like the same game. But if you get up close, you're like, oh yeah, look at all the detail on this stuff. So there's some cool stuff there. But there are some glaring omissions in multiplayer, in the way clans used to work. All stuff that you can't do in the old game anymore because they've shut all that down. The Battle.net part. So this is your way of playing Warcraft 3 in a multiplayer environment. And some of that stuff's just a little undercooked. And it didn't include all the features and things that Blizzard said they were going to put in there when they announced it at BlizzCon 2018. And a lot of people are very upset about that, among other things. We'll get to the other things in a minute, but that seemed to cause a lot of consternation that the game actually seems to have less features than Warcraft 3 had. And also that the features that they said they were going to add, like there was talk of a completely redone Illidan versus Arthas fight cinematic. They were going to redo that one. They didn't do it.
There is a change to it, but it's not what you would think.
No. And what they seemed to indicate on stage is there was some sweeping stuff coming. Also, UI and interface stuff was all supposed to be different. None of that changed. In fact, as best I can tell, I'm still limited to the same how many characters can I select at once and put into a battle group, and it's like less than you'd wish, and you're spoiled by the way StarCraft 2 does it. But even StarCraft 1 Brood War remastered, I think that had some of those improvements. So anyway, whatever. To me, that stuff's small because, again, it's a remaster of a game, and if you didn't like the first one, then you may not like this one. If you did, then you probably will. But the bigger complaints have been the terms of service that you agree to in that game basically come down to this. They say, and I'll say it right before I say anything about it, this does not surprise me at all that Blizzard did this. So I don't know why anyone's surprised. And it's also almost exactly what their terms of service agreement is for StarCraft 2 that y'all signed 10 years ago, and no one's ever said anything about it. I never heard any of this complaining, so I don't know where all the complaining's coming from suddenly out of nowhere. But Blizzard's decided to really clamp down and say, all right, you can't bring third-party models into this thing. No custom character models. If you're going to create maps and mods and stuff within the game, that's where they'll stay. And if you're going to go anywhere else with it, you're restricted from doing that. That to me sounds like a company that doesn't want to relive the MOBA mess that was created in their backyard, kind of right under their noses, while they were very busy with the world's most popular MMO. Along came some people, and they made a thing people really liked in that game. They made a bunch of custom stuff for it, and then they picked up their stuff and left. And they went other places, whether it's League of Legends or a very direct case, Dota 2, and made billions of dollars for all those properties, and Blizzard saw none of it. Now, it's not to say that, plenty of mods have been turned into full-blown games. I could name a dozen of them, but things like Team Fortress and that's all I can think of right now. Team Fortress. Even
Battlegrounds is all based around mods.
That's true. Even like Capture the Flag was a mod for Quake. Like, these things just come out of that, and I love the mod scene, and I think it's very cool what what ends up happening. I think it's a really cool thing when genres come out of that stuff. But Blizzard, in their minds, you can agree with them or not, are like, yeah, we don't want to do that again. Even though I don't even think they're that afraid that it would, because again, this is just a remaster of a game that's already been out. Like the MOBA damage is done. Like no one's going to make some huge innovative new thing tomorrow on this thing that I know of. I don't think they think they will either, but it's just like boilerplate stuff now. You legally cover yourself so that people don't come make a thing with all your tools and then leave. And that's not surprising to me at all. But apparently
right.
you can
debate whether or not it's a good thing or not. I mean, that's fine. But like a history where Blizzard put their hand on the stove and went, that's hot, and burned themselves, and now they're hovering their hand again and deciding not to do it. Like, who is surprised that they've decided not to throw their hand right back on?
It's not like any of those companies that built their stuff in Blizzard's backyard and took it elsewhere preserve the tradition of open source. Like, none of those companies do that. Can I mod League of Legends?
No. You can't even
do much. Can I mod Dota 2? Maybe.
Dota 2 has hats and stuff that's created by the community, but it's,
Yeah, but to the extent that a Blizzard game was moddable, level editor style.
Exactly. Nobody's walking away from League of Legends or Dota 2 with their hot new subgenre they came up with, and now they're a giant multi-billion-dollar company owned by Tencent. It doesn't work that way. As close as we've come to that was Dota 2's auto chess mod, and in that particular case, everybody made.
But even there, they fought over it because didn't they have? Oh yeah, wasn't there some sort of disagreement that caused the creator to go somewhere else? Meanwhile, Valve made.
They tried to hire the creator. They tried to hire the creator. They were Chinese guys. They said no. We want to do this on our own. And so they said, okay, cool, we're going to make a thing that's like it. So they made Underworlds, and then,
even those guys went to Epic, and I think I don't know what the story is. No one's talking about.
Well, Auto Chess is on phones and on Epic, and presumably coming everything else at some point. But I don't know.
I don't hear a lot of people talk. I haven't seen a lot of chatter about it, but I see still chatter about TFT and boards.
But that's a good that's a good example of some of that happening there. But they couldn't take code with them. They couldn't take the character stuff with them. They couldn't leave and say, well, yeah, we're going to call our Arthas. His name is Arthur instead. Like, that's kind of what happened in the Warcraft example. And because of that, Blizzard wants to cover their butts. Whether or not you like that or agree with it, especially modders out there, I mean, I feel for you, man. I don't like that stuff gets locked down to the point that you don't have the freedom to create what you want to create. But I don't blame Blizzard. I mean, like, of course they're going to do that. It's 2020. What do you guys expect them to do?
I don't blame any company that wants to do that, whether it's Blizzard or somebody else. Somebody else coming in and saying, hey, if somebody makes something great here, we want it to stay here. Of course that's what they think. Of course that's what they want to do. And of course the modding community is going to push back against it. It's always going to be this struggle. Honestly, I think the mods thing is just another case with this entire thing on Warcraft 3 Reforged. And let me preface this by saying, I think Warcraft 3 Reforged is hugely disappointing. So just so you know that I'm not jumping on the let's defend Blizzard bandwagon, but also I'm seeing a lot of people say a lot of things and going, and they're also doing this about mods. Honestly, just sounds like a bunch of people going, and another thing. Like, people are mad about something that I think has a lot of legitimate credibility to being angry about. I think there's a lot of things that they did with this game that are mistakes, that are bad, that aren't great. And I think because people are mad and they just want to make the strongest case they can for why they're mad and why that's okay, they're just going, and another thing. Also, they're keeping all the rights to mods, which again is a completely obvious thing for them to do. And I don't think there's any universe where they didn't do that except for the first time where it burned them really bad. And another thing, it's also, it killed my grandmother. Like, they're just, every board you read is just the most extreme stuff. Yeah. And to me, I just feel like the strength of this for me and the focus of this for me is, why does Warcraft 3 Reforged exist? I knew why it existed back when they announced it in 2018. They had very grand designs for it. So much so that I talked to someone after it and they said, I don't know, I'm kind of unsure about all this talk about tying it a little more into World of Warcraft lore. I'm worried that that's going to ruin Warcraft 3 because I kind of want the experience I had. And I said, well, a couple months ago, they did a patch. Because if you go back to 2018, there was a big Warcraft 3 patch that year to modernize it, get it running on modern computers, support current monitors, a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of upgrades. In fact, a bunch of people thought it was going to be an HD remaster announcement. It wasn't. It was just a big mod and a big patch to get the game running. So I said, I feel like they kind of did that for the people that want the pure original experience, and that frees them up to make something that's different and unique. And then they decided instead, well, what if we just made HD the exact same game?
Yeah, they did make, I mean, there are a couple of weird changes, like Grommash Hellscream is no longer called Grom Hellscream or even Grommash Hellscream, even though he's listed in the files as Grommash, but all reference to Grom is gone. I can't figure out why. So there are even lines where Thrall used to say, Grom, you've done the, whatever, when they have a conversation. Now he just calls him Hellscream. I don't know why. There's no reason. That's not really a retcon. It's just like he's still Grom / Grommash Hellscream. I don't know why the surname matters. Like, it's real weird. There's a couple little things like that, but they, for the most part, it's Warcraft 3. Like, that's what you're getting. The biggest problem I've heard is major bugs. People will alt-tab out of the game, it crashes, or people will get stuck on, I guess it's the fourth mission in the Arthas stuff. Fourth mission in is crashing for a lot of people. So a lot of bugs and things that people think should have probably been ironed out. They didn't do the beta. They did the beta for multiplayer, but not for the single player campaign. So they don't really have outside test data for that, and I think that's probably a mistake. And maybe they charged too much for it, given that they didn't include all the stuff they were going to include, and in fact didn't include stuff that was in the original release of Warcraft 3 in terms of multiplayer and the way servers worked and that kind of stuff. So all of that taken as a whole is frustrating. It's kind of a bad launch. It's lame. And I think Blizzard should be taken to task for that. But it is possible to hold two ideas in your head at once. Blizzard may have effed up the launch of this thing and overpromised, under-delivered. Like, all those criticisms are correct. But let's set fire to the world again because we just feel like being a-holes is not my idea of a good time today. Like, I got in the dumbest fights today with people. Here's a mistake I made. I recommend nobody do this. Reddit for Warcraft 3 Reforged is already a mess of anger, okay? They also have a link to their Discord channel, which they just let you into. So I thought, let's go see what that's like. That was a bad idea. I went in there, and it was a horrifying experience. And I got into this one particular argument with somebody about...
you chatted with somebody in there?
Oh, yeah, I talked back and forth. I didn't just lurk. I started getting in there, and everything was stupid. And I wasn't in there to defend anything or complain about anything. I was just like, well, hold on. You can't say that. Like, I was trying to just create reason where there was none, and that was a mistake. But, like, this one guy, he was like, this is why companies like Epic are so much better than Blizzard. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, Epic only takes 5% of the sales of someone's game who licensed their engine to make their game. But Blizzard keeps 100% of the money. And I went, you're comparing apples to an old man's penis. Like, they're not even the same. They're so different. They're not even apples and oranges. They're not even fruits. Like, you're describing a licensable engine where their entire business model is to sell it / license it to people who use it for the games, and then you take a cut off of that. The whole point of the engine is to do that. It's not a game. I mean, Unreal Tournament's a game. That's not the same. The Unreal Engine is not a video game. It is tools to make a video game. It is the structure to build a game. It is the engine of the game. So people take that and they make a video game. Blizzard has a video game. It's called Warcraft 3 Reforged, or before it, Warcraft 3. And they decided at one point or another that it would have some modability, map-making tools, that sort of thing. It's not a tool set for making video games. It is their video game. So they're not even close. And having these conversations with people was killing me today. To me, it was obvious. But to them, it wasn't so obvious. And I started realizing people start using that stupid frog. What's the frog? Pepe the Frog crap and all that. It's just like, dude, am I in 4chan today? What am I doing in here? Like, it was horrendous. So I got out of there, and I'm not going there ever again. But the point remains, just have a conversation about it. You know, like it's a bad launch. Straight up, it's a bad launch. Can they fix it? Probably. Will they make good? Probably. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But
it's probably a bad day to join that Discord.
Oh, it was a terrible day to join it. You're not wrong.
One day of your entire life you're going to be on this Discord server is the day that the mob has decided to again crap on Blizzard. And like, there is a cottage industry around bad-mouthing Blizzard. Like, I don't know what they do when they're in that kind of position. I suppose Star Wars and there's other IPs that are in similar boats, like that are big cultural touchstones in video games and entertainment. But like, because I watched one video once in the fall about China or this Hong Kong deal, this Bellular News. Have you ever heard of Bellular?
No.
It's a YouTube channel, maybe in the 100,000 views sort of level.
Yeah.
I watched one video, and that I still get suggested videos all the time, and literally every day is a new upload, like 5 to 10 times a week. You wouldn't believe how Blizzard failed today.
Yeah.
Like, this is like imagine you start a company. Well, you have one, right? Frog Pants.
Sure.
And then some YouTube creators like, I'm going to make a YouTube channel, upload a video every day about how Scott sucks or how Frog Pants sucks. Like, that's literally what is happening to Blizzard. Like, John's saying he didn't like, you know, if Warcraft Reforged, before we got on the show today, he's like, I don't even want to be associated with this cottage industry putting a product out there and criticizing it, but not being lumped into that business.
Right.
But there's a whole industry whether it's profitable or not, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just people spending energy and time just like saying the weirdest things, like talking about how terms of service won't hold into court. Let's figure out, what's going on with this EULA about owning like all this crap. And it's like, just chill out.
Yeah,
like, honestly, like, it just makes it hard to even read anything from a site that is reputable, who's supposedly reputable, who's reporting on what people think based on what they see on Twitter or Reddit, which is not representative of people. There's a lot of people there's so many people saying like they ruined old Warcraft 3 for me. Right? Because it's the unified, they updated the client, right? You have to play the new Warcraft Reforged with classic graphics.
Right.
How many of them have played Warcraft 3 in the past 5 to 10 years?
Very few.
I'm pretty sure Blizzard knows how many people are logging in, and it's nowhere near the amount of people commenting on this matter.
Yeah, guaranteed.
It's nowhere near. You're not playing this game. You're not entitled to an opinion, most likely, in the way that you're expressing it about how this game is a failure. So, yeah.
The bigger you are, the more heat you get. Blizzard's not the only example of this. People give shit to Apple all day. People give shit to Google all day. They give shit to any big player in any big space. That's just the way it is. But there seems to be an exquisite brand of anger with Blizzard hatred, and I don't understand it. I understand Blizzard frustration. I've had more than my share over the last year. But today I got called a corporate shill 3 times for suggesting that maybe we could have a nuanced argument about it and not just yell at each other.
Corporate shill, the guy who went out to work on his own instead of work for corporations.
Yeah, I don't work for anyone. I work for me.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
That's the thing. That's the part that's so frustrating to me, is that I think it's totally reasonable to be mad at Blizzard about this even. And I get where a lot of the anger is coming from. Blizzard certainly has not had a good couple of years. Whether it's shelving heroes, whether it's, the layoffs that they experienced, the underwhelming BlizzCon, a sequel to Overwatch that's really just an expansion pack, but we stuck a 2 on it. That one's maybe a little more opinion, but it's also true. Underwhelming launches. Battle for Azeroth is not a great expansion. Like, there's a million things that are genuine frustration points with Blizzard, and it does feel like they're continuing to fail. And I'd even argue that maybe the only victory that they had was an announcement of Diablo 4, which ultimately is still kind of more Diablo, and you'd have to actually work really, really hard to bungle that. And it's also not a game launch, so the potential to bungle it is still very much there. I get where a lot of that frustration's coming from, but you have to do it constructively, because you guys are right. I don't want to be associated with the people mad at this game, because they're so blanket mad about everything and so over the top with their rage that it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of on your side, but you're so at a 13 about this, threatening people, saying it slapped you across the face, saying that this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life. Like, all the way up to things that are genuinely scary, where it's people doing death threats or people just spamming racist things in the chat to try to make a game that they're complaining about being bad even worse. Like, these are the people that I don't want anything to do with. And you have legs to stand on. When you have legs to stand on, you don't have to resort to these. You can just hit them with facts and go, hey, I used to own Warcraft 3. It worked and played great the way I wanted it. You put out a product and now you broke something I already paid you for. Whether I was playing it or not is not a point. You broke something I paid you for.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah, 100% legit stance to take. And you should take that stance if that's how you feel about it. And I know many who have. People have gotten refunds. People are mad. They're letting Blizzard know. Threatening to blow up the campus is a little far. I saw somebody sort of doing that in that Discord, and then he got banned. John made a quote in our Slack earlier that, John, if you'll forgive me, I want to read this. He said, the extreme takes bum me out because it's so loud and so all over the place that it mutes what I think is some genuinely deserved criticism. Just to sort of add to what you just said. And I totally agree with that. Like, that is 100% my take on this. And I wish everybody could just freaking, I know I'm dealing with like a huge range of demographics and age ranges and everything else. I know this isn't just me in a room of adults who can discuss issues calmly. I know that's not true, but I still want it to be.
It's like 200 people playing this game, dude. Like, it's, I'm telling you, nobody's playing Warcraft 3 before Reforged came out.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of bullshit. And like, I think you could say they definitely under-delivered in an age where we got the Doom and reboot, the Resident Evil 2 remake, and what looks to be like a pretty good Final Fantasy 7 remake. They kind of did present initially, or, if you're not an insider, whether you're a Blizzard fan, super fan, or like a game development insider at Blizzard, or have that kind of insight, the marketing definitely made it look like we were getting not just upres, which is what we're getting a Reforged game, and they definitely didn't do that. I've never played it before, but even on my first playthrough, I can tell, this is an old game with HD graphics.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Being said, it's a fun game still. It's not so old that it's you can't enjoy it. And for my first time playing through the campaign, I'm having a really good time. In fact, I would choose to play it over BDO. Which is my current obsession, which is very hard to pull me away from right now for some.
Wait, BBO. Oh, Black Desert Online.
Black Desert Online.
Yeah.
It's really good. The quality's there. And like, I think ultimately I'd rather just Blizzard make new games and focus on making that stuff good. If you feel bilked by Warcraft 3, like, I don't know, my favorite game in the universe doesn't run anymore. So stuff goes away, stuff dies, and Warcraft 3 is an older game.
But Warcraft 3 will still, the original game will still play the campaign. Somebody in the chat room is like, I can't do it anymore. No, you just can't do the multiplayer stuff. That thing still installs. It's not.
I'm on the Undead chapter.
Yeah, you can even play with the old look. And believe me, part of the criticism, they didn't change enough. Once you change it to the classic look, it's like there.
I'm disappointed too that it wasn't, like the way they did Doom or Final Fantasy 7 remake, where they're just like, boom, new Warcraft. But then I'm like, okay, that just means they're not focused on this game that much. That seems fine to me. The overall narrative of the company is that they have been missing, and we want cool new things. Well, we've got Diablo 4, we've got Overwatch 2, we've got I think they need to make a new World of Warcraft, like 2. Shadowlands trailer was freaking amazing though, but like it's an old game. But that's just my opinion. But they are capable of doing really exciting things. I still have my fingers crossed that there's a follow-up to StarCraft 2, like spiritually, you know what I mean? Just their next big RTS. Is that someone's working on that somewhere in that company? And playing Warcraft 3 really shows me how far they've come between Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2, because StarCraft 2 is still a very good game that you can go play right now if Warcraft 3 is failing your RTS needs. StarCraft 2 is like supremely playable now, and the campaign is super great and long.
It's an incredible game. Yeah. As RTSs go, it's king of the hill as far as I'm concerned.
I'm disappointed, but as a first time player, Warcraft 3 is also a very good experience.
Yeah,
and that's a good point, because that's how I felt too. Because I played through most of the prologue, and I got done with it, and I was like, had a lot of fun. I played a great game, but I feel disappointed. Like it's a weird thing to feel, because at its core is that this is still a really good game. Warcraft 3 is still an extremely good game.
Yeah.
And that is still the foundation, whether, all issues aside. And so I had an experience where I played Reforged and had a really fun time with it. But I would ultimately, if somebody said, hey, should I get Warcraft 3 Reforged? I'd tell them, probably not.
Yeah. And then maybe give it a while to see how they respond to all this stuff, before you make that decision. I agree with that.
Yes, I want to respond to something in chat. So Alessandro, is a great person, says wants to remind me that there's a huge Warcraft 3 tournament starting from IEM and another bigger one in China in March, that they need to fix the game for these reasons.
I don't know,
and that may well be. Like I'm making jokes about the 200 players.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, there's more than that. Obviously,
there's a big. I just want that sort of as part of the conversation, just to balance things out.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
None of us are saying any of that, and I think that's important. But I and there's another item on our list of topics that we can talk about, but I'm slowly of the opinion that Blizzard just wants out of esports mostly. So like the fact that Warcraft 3 is not going to work for your tournaments, kind of like.
I like that. Wait. This is kind of, we need this segment. Don't we have a little segment clip for this? Hold on. This is Bo's.
Oh, we have that.
Oh, that's right. This is perfect for it.
Yeah,
actually.
where is it?
Hello, China.
No.
Yep, that's it.
That's not
the
it.
X-Files
That's
one.
not-
Hello, China.
There it is. All right, okay, geez, Mulder. So yeah.
As a survivor of the HGC being lacking and trying to depict whether or not Overwatch League is successful or not through the onslaught of polemic news that is just opinion disguised as news.
Yeah.
It's hard to tally up the actions we're seeing that Blizzard take with respect to esports and the reports around it and feel like there's a healthy attitude towards making esports better. And we have like adjacent side cases where LCS is still going strong. Wizards has their Magic stuff still going really strong. They're really supporting the sports and the legacy of those leagues, as well as among others, right? And I don't know what's happening in the shooter camp, Fortnite, Call of Duty, that stuff, but I don't hear a lot of the bad stuff that I do right now with Blizzard Esports.
Yeah.
And they just don't look to me like a company that's like, we really want to create a sports league and have that legacy live up. In the marketing, they're all about hyping it up and stuff like that. I don't think that's their focus.
I think it was. I think that may have left the room when Morheim left. He was really big on that. And I think maybe that they're having to pull. Well, they have to pull back because financially it's not as viable. I don't know about Overwatch again. That's hard to read that one because I don't know where that's at. But
they ask a lot of money for the teams to invest. The report I was on a more major site is that like it's very hard. None of these companies are investing in their franchise teams or making money.
Yeah.
It's a loss for them basically,
and
that's like that doesn't have a good look long term when it's BlizzCon 2020 or 2021 and the Overwatch League just suddenly gone before the show.
Oh,
So,
no, it'll
watch
be
out for
fine.
that.
There will be Overwatch 2 out, and it'll totally revitalize the whole thing.
No, I think they just more want to focus on fun at home experiences and let other people deal with sports leagues if they're going to have it. But they just don't strike me. They're not giving me that impression that they're really, really gung ho about esports. But I've had that impression since I've gone to BlizzCon and saw how poorly they treat their games in that regard. All the tournaments happen at the same time. Like imagine if we all had to do a public speaking assignment and the teacher's like, yeah, just all three of you talk at once.
Well, you'd be in 3 separate classrooms and you might
No, you're in the same room.
Well,
Maybe different corners of the.
So yes,
we'll call
different
one
corners.
Hall A and Hall B. Like you can kind of hear the other guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
I'm
true.
like, I want to spend time watching all of these tournaments. I want to go to the Overwatch one. I want to go to the Hearthstone one. I want to go to the World of Warcraft one.
Yeah.
Now, nobody gets the benefit of being the most important thing happening at that moment for a Blizzard fan, and it's poor management of their esports program. I'm at a point where I'm hugely critical of it because of the stuff that's happened.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So Warcraft 3 not working.
Maybe they're just like,
Small potatoes.
Yeah, we're not
That's
really.
what I think.
They're not ready to
For them.
launch a giant esports initiative around Warcraft 3. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, what about this YouTube thing? Did you hear about that?
No. Oh, they got
Blizzard
a.
and YouTube.
Oh
signed
wait!
the
Before you
exclusivity deal?
do that. So I want to take one tiny comment to task in the chat. And
Okay,
Knucklebones, all respect. Okay, I'm not. This isn't me calling you out, but I guess it kind of is. But I just want you to know I don't mean it in a mean way. But he says they fired 800 people, and their games are suffering. They deserve the flack. I understand that sentiment, but it's actually based on a piece of misinformation. They didn't fire a single dev during that layoff. That was all community people, esports people, and office stuff, and some shared stuff at Activision. Not a single one of those were programmers, designers, artists. None of those guys got laid off. So I don't think that holds water. I think it's like, again, it's fair to say why they deserve flack and then point out the reasons. I just think we should have real reasons. That's all. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so.
There's plenty of real reasons to be mad.
Lots of them. Yeah, there's a ton of them. We don't need to make one up, is what I'm saying. And I'm not. Again, I'm not saying Knucklebones is sitting around going, "What can I make up to?" I'm not saying that. And you may have not known that none of those were dev jobs. I don't know, but I don't think CMs and social media managers and those types are the ones that are the reason why the games are suffering. I think maybe their image is suffering because of that. You could make that argument. But I don't think that has anything to do with the actual development of the games. Anyway, no, none were in quality control that I know of. I don't think that's correct.
Community people got hit.
Oh yeah, big time. They were the most.
But like their supports, they support the product, they support the initiatives, but they don't make the games ultimately.
Yeah, so. and like I said, that's a bad look for PR. That's a bad look for us as gamers. We still, whatever. That was a shitty thing. I hated that layoff.
Yeah.
This show got turned into a regular video game show as a result of that.
That was kind of the straw.
I mean, not directly. We didn't go, well, because they laid people off, we're not talking about heroes anymore. But
it was it played a role. There's no question.
Yeah.
And I think I've got this weird, lifelong Blizzard fan, and I'm in this weird place where I also don't agree with a ton of stuff they're up to. And people seem to not hear me say that. They think I don't ever say that. And
I think
they
it's
tell me
symptomatic of like we're all wishing things from a company that's going to do what it's going to do. Like I wished for HGC, if the company was mine to control, there would be different things to do. And I think everyone has a little bit of that in them. That's why I say like Blizzard probably, it looks to me, they just want to focus on making some quality game experiences and not live up to any of these things people keep trying to put on them, right? Like the esports and now, I mean, I don't know what else. That's really all it is. Just esports kind of sucks, and I don't know, the fact that like I don't know, I've liked all the releases. Like I don't have that much to complain about when it comes to Blizzard. Honestly, I'm just mad about HGC mostly.
Yeah, that's still the craw on the stick in your craw. How's that go? I forget how that goes.
Stick in my craw on my stick.
Yep.
All right. Well, enough about Blizzard. Enough about Warcraft. Let's move on a little bit to I think some exciting news. Speaking of remakes, Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake / retelling.
On the heels of another remake. Oh boy.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, because here's people arguing for the exact opposite situation. So they announced Knights of the Old Republic coming back. People very excited. That is one of the, if not the best Star Wars game ever made. So a lot of passion for that. And then they said, well, it's going to be a bit of a remake because it's going to be in canon. So we're going to be taking 1 and 2 and taking elements of the story and, making it fit within the actual canon Star Wars universe. And then people promptly went, no, we just want the same game but graphics. And so now we have people arguing the other way and saying, no,
That's
please
so
just
annoying.
make the exact same game but with prettier graphics.
They need to stop listening to those people, because we don't get Final Fantasy VII remake. Like there's people I'm sure who would just like it to behave like the old game. Don't stop saying these things to game developers.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm excited for a remake. I can't wait to see how they make that canon. Is there a chance they'll mess it up? Sure, there always is. Is there a chance that they'll knock it out of the park? Also sure. Does it destroy my experience of playing Knights of the Old Republic if they mess it up? Nope.
No. It'll destroy your experience of playing the remake. That's it. Like you still have the old experience. So what's the problem?
There's a high percentage they mess it up. This is EA BioWare, right?
Yeah, this is EA BioWare, and
are you looking forward to getting loot boxes in your Knights of the Old Republic?
Oh, come on. They're not going to do that.
I haven't played an EA game that hasn't had a loot box in it in years.
That's all right. I had to play that again.
The new Battlefront 2 doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of it. They know the writing's
loot
on
boxes.
Not in that game. Well, they do. But it's not.
They do.
I know what Bo's saying. Bo's right. They do.
You opened one. It was a legacy one. You can't even get them anymore.
Look, I'm saying it. Let's say it's not pay to win. Let's say you can't even buy them. It's just earnable loot boxes in the game. There'll be some kind of loot box in that EA BioWare game. I'm telling you.
There is a huge push to eliminate them entirely. They are the dirty word in the industry, and I am already guessing. I'm near 100% on this that Blizzard is dumping it in Overwatch 2 for a battle pass style solution like everybody else and their dog is.
Okay, look, all I'm going to say is this, because I already see it in the chat. I'm hearing it from Bo. I'm kind of getting the vibe from Scott. They just put out a Star Wars game. It was well reviewed. It had no loot boxes, and there's been 0 DLC for the game.
Oh, you're talking about Fallen Order.
Yeah.
It's made by Respawn. They like to fight with EA.
Like,
it's not a proof of concept yet.
Like, I get where
but
this is coming from. There's a history there, but I don't think we need to assume that it will be there necessarily.
I don't know.
I mean, look,
Mass Effect 3 had loot boxes.
Yeah, but Mass Effect 3 is like 5. What I'm saying,
Mass Effect 3.
I know.
Mark my words. Mark my words. Loot boxes are on their way out across the board, with the single exception of maybe mobile and maybe the Asian market's a little slower to do this. But I really, I mean, most new games that you could have seen 2 years ago having loot boxes have gone a different way.
If we were betting people, this would be a perfect bet.
Oh, it would be.
I would say, what are the odds? I would take the odds against there being some kind of additional purchase post-launch. Right? Like, Doom launched and it was kind of just a box.
Yeah.
DLCs, but maybe there was add-on purchases on it. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
The traditional
like Borderlands always comes with extra crap to buy that's junk. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that they remake a pure game that is just a box for sale without adding anything after?
Cyberpunk.
That's
0
how
on the no DLC.
That's how they make their money.
But remember, you just said that a lot of people are like, don't change the game, make it exactly what it was.
Oh yeah.
So they'll make it exactly what it was, plus some loot boxes, and the internet's gonna freak out.
Here's what I want. If they could, let's look at Resident Evil 2 as the example, and the upcoming 3.
Yeah.
That's what I want out of this BioWare remake, or out of this KOTOR remake, because
I want to play as rookie cop Leon S. Kennedy.
I want to get chased by Mr. X.
He becomes a Jedi.
Yep. Nailed it. This is exactly where I was headed. No, what I mean is
Mr. X gets brought back as a cyborg man with a breathing problem.
You do this
and just pursues you down a corridor constantly.
That sounds brilliant. But you just do this true treatment where you're true to the original in all the right ways, and you're true to modern sensibilities in all the right ways, and you come up with that kind of product. And you can see KOTOR as that kind of game. Like, totally. Like, the essence of KOTOR stays the same. It's just beautiful graphics, way better angles and cutscenes and sound work, and everything else just comes into play that we can do now modernly. It's truly a remake. Like, I'm all in on that if they can just keep the core, and the core is the gameplay.
I want a remake. I don't want just up-res textures.
I want to know how it fits in the world. Look, I do not love the most recent Star Wars movie. That said, I'm happy with the canon we have, and we have an established canon now, and I'm curious how this game that existed somewhat outside of it fits into that. I want to know, is it going to have Darth Revan in it? I would assume so. How does that character fit in this new universe? Like, what is that character like? I'm excited about it. I'm glad that it's going to be something new.
Yeah.
That said, Star Wars, easiest thing in the world to monetize. You have a game with lightsabers. All you have to do is be like, yeah, that purple lightsaber crystal's pretty, isn't it? And someone goes, yeah. Well, if you had $4, I could get you this crystal.
Well,
and I immediately go, I have all the $4 for you. You can have it all.
But I'm telling you, I think there's blowback right now on what we think of as the future models of freemium this and loot boxes that. There seems to be a pulling back. I will give you another example that was just announced, and we have it in our notes. Torchlight Frontiers, which was supposed to be an online all the time sort of mini MMO-ish sort of experience. I was kind of looking forward to it in that form. Is not that anymore. They've switched gears entirely and gone back to you'll buy this game one time, and it's called Torchlight 3. It's not going to be free to play. Like, that's a complete turnaround, and I think there's some blowback right now. I think people are like, maybe a little too overextended into the mobile universe. Why don't we pull it back a little and do some more things like that? Like, Fallen Order, I think, is a response to that. They took so much shit for Battlefront 2 and its model and everything, and they tried to fix that the best they could, and I think it turned out okay now. But it took a while, and they took a huge hit for it, PR-wise. I think Fallen Order made a very strong effort to avoid all that stuff. And I don't think it's just Respawn being rebellious. I think that's there's no way that's true because Disney has got their hands in this thing like you wouldn't believe. So they don't have
the whales. The whales are gotta be smartening up too, right? Like,
yeah, that's the other thing is like how long can you milk the same people?
Like if you know someone who spent 20 grand, but they only make like 30 grand a year, like you're intervening you're talking to that person,
right?
Like if that's a friend of mine, I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some people who can afford to dumpster it. Like that guy, I think there was a story on TMS this week, the morning stream, for those who haven't been acquainted. Great show that Scott does. About the guy who spent like a scholarship money on hookers, blow, and in-app Apple purchases, and the percentage of the 200, was it 200 grand?
200 or 300 grand, whatever it was.
On Apple in-app purchases was like, what was it, like 70% of the 200 grand or something?
Yeah, he was buying all like gems and upgrades and Smurf berries.
And he's in jail now or something. He's in trouble.
Yeah, he was a professor. He was using grant money, which is a big, huge no-no.
There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Grant money. So like, it's unethical to make your business. Oh, we want to make games. It's like, yeah, you're bilking from whales who are making mistakes in life mostly.
Yeah.
And I know that the American way and the way of business is say, hey, it's their money. They need to be responsible with it. But at a certain point, you have to look at that. Like, I'd feel gross going to bed knowing I made my money from people who had poor impulse control. That's why don't I just go rob grandmothers? Oh, they have poor purse control. I can take their purse. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing the same thing. If you work for a free-to-play person, you're like, most of our income comes from suckers, whales, then you're just a con man at that point.
I don't disagree. I think there's the nickel and diming attitude and there's predatory practices, no doubt. That's why I think there's a bit of a pulling back right now. Now what that looks like business wise, I don't know. I think most people agree that battle passes pretty much across the board are a much better approach to this kind of thing than the typical loot box structure that we've been fed for the last few years. It's no longer interesting to me to open a box and hope I get a thing that I might get. I hate that. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I want to do that in a game. I want to like pop something in Diablo and go, ooh, a nice sword I didn't expect to see. That's different. Like, that's fine. But when you get out of the game, I don't want to go click on boxes and have some random shit happen. I'm done.
Yeah, but even battle passes, I'd say, how much further are we until like too many games adopt it and then we're in the I can only buy so many battle passes.
No, I think it works because that our comfort for that pain threshold, like we have Netflix subscriptions, we have Patreon subscriptions, we do GoFundMe's, like we have all kinds of stuff that we subscribe to, and we know we're not getting a product back in return. You know what I mean? Like we know Netflix doesn't give me anything. I put $100 into their service every year or something like that.
Right.
So I think we're all really used to it, and the pain of that is much less than the random thing because you know what you're doing when you sign up for it. With loot box, you don't know what
loot boxes. You don't. It's kind of gambling. I mean, it's gambling in the sense that you're not going to earn money back, but it's gambling in the sense that there's a lot of RNG and you're just sort of playing the odds. And I hate that. Battle passes. What I would say to you, John, is I agree with you, but I don't think the idea is that I need to pay for 16 battle passes. I think it's just I'm playing a lot of more Modern Warfare right now. I should get this battle pass. And that's my battle pass for a month. And then I'm done and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of sick of that. You know what? I want to go back and see how Apex is doing. I'll do that battle pass. Or I don't pay for any of them and I just do the version of the battle pass that unlocks things slightly slower and doesn't give me every single thing that comes out of that thing. I'm okay with that too.
Well, and because you know what you're getting, you can say, oh, I don't need to participate in this one. Oh, and then somebody turns around and goes, we got this in ours. And you go, well, I guess I'm playing a lot of that game.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's legitimately a far less predatory practice. Are there still people that are like, oh, I got to have that Fortnite skin where the guy looks like half robot, half taco. I got to get it. By the way, I can't even look at people playing Fortnite anymore. Can I talk about this for a second? This is a problem. I can't even watch video of it because
it's a ridiculous game.
It's okay. Forget about the building and when there's two good players at the end and all they do is just like spam build and shoot down each other's buildings until one of them makes a slight mistake. I hate that anyway, and I don't want to play that. I wish there was a mode where you didn't play it with stupid building in it, but whatever. I know it's in the game now. It's like last hit. They're never going to take it out, so I understand. However, I just can't look at it and take it seriously. I'm staring at the back of somebody who looks like a a bunch of Kleenex boxes stacked up together because that's the skin the guy got, and they're always changing weapons, constantly going just like a habit, like a weird. You know what I'm talking about? Like you see him just flipping a gun, flip a gun, flip a gun, and I'm like, are you all? Where's the monster? Do you have a monster lifetime supply in the garage? Like, what are you doing? I can't do it anymore. That sounds like an old guy take, and fine if it is.
I was gonna say, Scott, I think you're falling into old guy take.
I mean, they may be having fun, and I'm not saying that. I'm not poo-pooing their fun. Let them have their fun. I'm just saying I can't watch it. I can't watch it. It just can't.
I had a friend who was super into Fortnite, and now he's all in on Modern Warfare. So I wonder, not that one person is a great sample size for the success of a thing, but he seems to be plugged into that particular zeitgeist, and I wonder if the tide is turning on some of these things.
Maybe. I was surprised. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but there was the most money-making games of the decade, and it was like dominated by Call of Duty. It's not MMOs, which I found surprising.
Every year it's Call of Duty. They never since Modern Warfare.
They took up like 5 of the spots.
Yeah,
I don't think League of Legends made it onto this list.
It was 5 or 7 or something of the spots. But League of Legends doesn't sell units; they just do transactional stuff, and that stuff doesn't get counted. So it's not even in the numbers, or it probably would be there. These are all just like you bought.
That's why
this
World of Warcraft was on it, because of the box copies.
Right, and the reason that GTA 5 was the number 1 for the whole decade was because that's a boxed thing. But they also make money with their online service. So they kind of get it at both ends. I mean, that's the biggest success of the decade, without any question.
I thought it was overall, because I was just going to say I was surprised by that. I'm not, a lot of people really like. I mean, clearly Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it's a force.
7 Calls of Duty, and people every year can go Call of Duty. They've lost their way. I'm like, they still sold more copies than anything this year. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's the same thing as when I worked at a popular video game retail store, and you'd sit there and you'd make fun of Madden, and you'd be like, "Oh, stupid Madden!" But hey, we got way more copies of Madden than anything else, and guess what? We sold out of them. People buy it,
and Madden
play
was
it, whether you like it or not.
For the previous decade, 2000 to 2010, that Madden held those slots. All those slots were Madden slots.
Then all the same people, that's a generalization, said, hey, what if we shot each other instead of threw footballs at one another? And then it became Call of Duty.
No, that was a big shift, but sure enough, that's literally mainstream gaming. Welcome to mainstream gaming. They still sell a billion things. This new game is very good. I really like it, and I haven't paid attention to Call of Duty in a while, but I really like the new one.
Fortnite makes me wish Call of Duty was more of a thing. That's just to bring it all back, right?
Fortnite. Like if they counted just revenue, I think probably Fortnite, World of Warcraft, I don't know what else, League of Legends, these would all be in that list. They'd be in the top slots if it was just revenue, because revenue is everything for these companies once they sell the box. Blizzard gets to do it twice. They get to sell an expansion for $40, and then they get your money every month. But not everybody else does.
Put a fox on the store, and
Oh yeah, people are into that fox and that mouse.
That stuff goes to charity, though, doesn't it?
Oh,
oftentimes for a while, but not every new thing goes to charity. Sometimes it goes right into the pockets of Big Blizzard.
I was interested to see where Torchlight was going to take Frontiers, but I'm fine. I like Torchlight a lot. I'm a fan of the series, and I'm fine with 3 being whatever 3 is going to be. Just hurry up and get it out. It's already been delayed a ton. Let's just be done with it. Get it finished up.
I'm shocked it's still coming. For a while, it looked like, I guess Runic had sold the company?
Well, Runic is gone now. So Runic sold the IP, so now the IP is owned by... Crap, I looked this up the other day.
Like crap.
Crap.
But it looked like a little bit like they sold it to a company. The way that it was pitched was like, well, now it's a free-to-play game, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually doubly shocking that it's going back to a box copy.
Yeah, but I'm in on that. I want that. Here it is. I can tell you who owns it now. It is Arc. And Arc, you know them from... Hold on.
Arc, the game?
No, Arc, the brand. They're publishers. They do Remnant from the Ashes, which is a big Steam big seller last year. They did... they do Neverwinter, the Neverwinter MMO. They do Star Trek Online Legacy, or Star Trek Online is theirs.
Oh, Star Trek Online, the game that I'm subscribed to forever.
I heard that new expansion is really good in there. I heard.
Is
You
it?
you
I should get in there because I still have a subscription to that game.
They also published
speak-
Subnautica and Forsaken World. So
Speaking of that stuff, I don't think it's on the list, but I just saw it today. Wizards of the Coast has founded their own studio.
what?
With
What,
an
gaming studio?
BioWare developer. So there's a guy who's been with BioWare since Baldur's Gate, helped work on those games, left BioWare to start a new studio.
Yeah.
And he has the official green light license partnered with
Nice.
Wizards. So like Larian's doing Baldur's Gate 3, but Wizards now has its own company to do D&D games.
I'm super
that's
excited.
a pedigree
So
that I
it's on-
like.
Yeah.
Gets
On
me
Polygon
excited.
today. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear that. I didn't know. I really like the Warhammer IP, and I like it even better when it's in good hands. And it not always is. Like it seems like
Yeah, it's all over the place, right?
yeah, they're kind of all over the map, and it's hit and miss. There's some amazing Warhammer games, and then there's some terrible ones, and then I look forward to a new one coming, and then it's worse than I thought, or then one that it looks like crap ends up being really good, and like there's just no quantifying the quality until you see it, and that makes me happy. I mean, that feels like something they should have done a long time ago, because they've never dabbled in that as far as I know. They originally were going to have, Blizzard was supposed to make a Warhammer game. It turned into Warcraft, but because that license, it didn't work out. But if they'd have just done this early, imagine those IPs are amazing. They could have done so many cool things with good development.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like that might be the MMO where
So
I'm playing.
the guy who's leading the studio worked on Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age, Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Nice.
Wow.
That's a-
that's
So
good crew.
good
That's-
lineage.
That's like a list of my favorite BioWare games.
Yeah.
And BioWare is like, they had the D&D license, for all those old games and stuff. So there's kind of this reuniting of talent, I suppose.
Mhm.
I think it's very big news. What
Yeah,
it's going to turn into, who knows? But
That's huge. No, I'm stoked about everything you just said.
The amount of
Uh,
hours I have in the original Dragon Age maybe only pales compared to my WoW time.
Wow.
I played through it twice.
Dragon Age?
Dragon Age 1,
I-
Origins. Yeah.
Origins
I
is
played
so
through
good.
Origins
Loved Origins.
maybe 4 times total. I played through every single one of the Origins, at least to Ostagar. I can't tell you how many times I made a character, got through the little opening origin, and went, "Yeah, they got a weird eye," and then deleted the character, remade them, and went through it again. I mean, we're talking a insane amount of hours in that game.
Yeah, that's such a John thing, though, for you to go in there and have to retweak faces and stuff. I love that about you, though. I think it's great. Don't
It was a
go
big
change it.
problem in Mass Effect, because Mass Effect, they give you this one very specific type of lighting when you make Commander Shepard, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I feel really good about this." And they go through the opening cinematic, and then the first shot you get of the character, she walks onto the bridge, and they do this weird under her head, weird orange lighting hitting her face, and you just go, "Oh yeah, this character looks good." And then that lighting hits, and you go, "Ugh, I gotta I gotta remake this whole thing. It's bad. I gotta fix this."
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. Here's the thing, though. Can we pinpoint when BioWare stopped being awesome? Was it after
Dragon Age 2.
Okay, Dragon Age 2's this, you think that was the sign?
Yeah, Dragon Age 2 was the sign.
Because
And not to say they didn't make anything good after that. I do actually like Inquisition, but I feel like they got lucky in Inquisition, and I feel like it's greater than the sum of its parts. When you look at the little pieces that make up Inquisition, you go, "The hell is wrong with this game?" But it just happened to be okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's how that turned out for them. And there's a lot of stories that support that, like about development and how things were really messy, and why that first zone feels fishy. There's something fishy early in that game that feels like a bunch of shit changed direction, and then the game got really good. But you're like, what were we doing here early on? But it was too much to go back and fix.
What if you spent 37 hours in the first zone? And you're like, what?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
It's really weird.
Why?
Plus, that was around a time when Skyrim was dictating everything. Like Skyrim was such a monster hit that if you made a game after 2011 that was a big, sprawling RPG, you just felt forced into kind of having to go a Skyrim style open world. You just had to do it. And Inquisition did that, and I think maybe that first part was just a little too open, and then things got a little better. But What's the other one that was like that? Oh, and I think to its strength, The Witcher adopted a lot of those ideas and did it right. That's a whole other conversation about how these trends end up shaping games.
It was definitely Dragon Age 2. Now I don't know when those two owners left. The Ray Mazurka and
the Doctors,
Daddy Dewlegs, whoever.
Daddy Dewlegs?
It's not Daddy Dewlegs.
But whatever, those guys left at a certain amount of time, and they're like in other business now. So they're two Canadians, but they don't do video games; they just do other business.
Yeah, one of them's
Isn't
like
one just like wine guy.
Yeah, wine or beer or something. It's like a beer.
But they were awarded the Order of Canada, which is the highest honor you can receive. Like I think it's like being knighted.
Who do you get that? Who do you get that from? Who gives you the order?
What's the big American thing you give to people?
The Medal of Honor or the
we go.
Well, not for military combat, for like civilians and stuff for achievement. Like there's a high.
Yeah, you get the president gives it to you. It's like a Medal of Service.
Not a Purple Heart.
That's for injury.
We give them an attaboy. Every year, millions of Americans tune in for the annual attaboy.
Didn't Forrest Gump get one of those?
Here it is. The Presidential Medal of Freedom is what it is.
Okay. So it recognizes people who've had lives filled with accomplishment, and have enriched the fabric of American society. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mine's in the mail.
So those two guys got the Order of Canada.
Yes.
Which is weird.
The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, has the.
Can you imagine John Carmack getting, the free for making Doom and all kinds of sweet first-person shooter stuff? Here's the Medal of Freedom.
Sure, why not? Oh, President Reagan gave it to Mother Teresa, and she's so tiny and skinny. It looks like when you put that around her neck, it probably just dropped her to the floor immediately. They had to carry it in a separate box. Anyway, all right. Well, there's that. And then you did mention this, Bo, and I forgot to get back to it. YouTube and Activision Blizzard struck an exclusive streaming deal. Google says Activision Blizzard, quote, turned to Google Cloud because of the highly reliable global footprint, advanced data analytics and artificial intelligence capabilities, and commitment to open source, creating a platform for building future gaming innovations. So they didn't do a deal with Twitch, basically. They did a deal with YouTube.
Yeah. So it sounds like anything esports related going to be on YouTube and not on Twitch. And then again, dovetails with my theory that they're not really that interested in esports. Let's not go with the. And I think they've had their struggles. It sounds like from the little tidbits I've read, the two companies.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff is getting for free. Like you can look at Twitch as a service benefiting off of Blizzard's products for free, right? Like Twitch doesn't pay royalties to the people to have the games played on their site, I don't think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of I think when the money gets super large and that kind of thing starts to chafe people the wrong way, then it's like, what if we get to a point where Blizzard's just like, you can't stream Blizzard games on Twitch, you got to stream them on YouTube Gaming?
Yeah.
What happens then?
That's true.
But anyways,
good question.
I'm speculating about all kinds of crap, but they don't like esports. That's why they went to YouTube.
Doodly doodly doo. I played the X-Files theme again in my head. All right. Well done. Well said. All good. Now this. This is the part of the show where we talk about the little games we're playing. And when I say little, boy, do I mean it. Because I played Littlewood a lot. I talked about it at length last week. Didn't I? Did I talk about it on here? I did.
Yeah. That's that game where it's a small town that's not been brought into the United States yet. There's a saloon.
There's lots of leveling up. You do like all kinds of, you pet things and you level up your petting.
You level up everything. It's just all numbers going up every time you go to bed. It's a great, I'll just say it again. It's
didn't you name your town Chodeville or something?
No, it's Glandular, and my character is Bumblenuts. Okay. And he is the peen. He is the town peen, not the mayor. He's the peen. Anyway, that game just ate up a ton of my time, and I really like it. And I won't go on about it more because I did it last week at length. It's just a rad freaking.
But
thing.
when you play that free epic farming game, I'll be happy to listen to your new adventure.
Okay.
Oh right, Farming Simulator is about to be the free game.
It is today.
I have to remember to pick that up. My girlfriend's kid is obsessed with that game, and I have to have a way for him to be able to play.
Yeah, no, go download it because it's there now. I got it today, and it's installed. I haven't played it yet, so I don't even know what I'm getting into. But I am kind of excited to crack it. That thing is like beloved. People love that game. So I got to find out why. I must know why. Why is
Sometimes
farming?
you gotta farm. It's just a calling.
There's some confusion about well, anyway, whether I should use a keyboard or a controller. I've had people say different
Truly
things.
the top question amongst farmers.
Yeah. Should I go mouse and keyboard or controller?
Can you imagine going out to the farm and be like, well, I don't farm, but I play farming simulator. Like, oh yeah, you play with the mouse and keyboard? No, I play with the controller. Like, get the hell off my property!
Yeah, get off my property.
These city kids coming out here with their fancy controllers telling us how to do our job.
Yeah. Get out of my yard. That kind
Son,
of
I've been playing Farming Simulator since you were just a twinkle in your daddy's eye.
thing. Oh, wow.
My dad used to say that too. Did your dad say that?
My dad said
No, my dad never
it.
said
My dad
that.
did say it.
I don't know where I heard it.
Maybe from one of us.
But my dad also said pleasure and measure. So there's that.
My dad says chimbly.
Chim-
I think all
that's
dads
right.
say
We talked
things
about
wrong.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We have had that conversation about pleasure and chimblies.
Can't say words right.
Nope. Nope. He had terrible handwriting too. Does your dad any penmanship?
Oh yeah, full
Yeah.
all caps. Everything's all caps.
Sweet.
Maximum effort.
That's
It's like
perfect.
Deadpool writing.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I'm not buying that $300 tractor controller. There are people who are so into this game they buy tractor controllers. Not doing that.
I like that. That's commitment.
It
What's
is.
a tractor controller look like? You mean like a
Like
steering
a
wheel?
tractor.
It's more than just a steering wheel. It's got all the the tractors have all like kind of weird pedals, and they got like lever crap up here for like raising the thresher and lowering the thresher and all that other stuff. And then there's the big wheel with like a knob on it.
So it's
on
a
the
full
wheel.
race car seat except slow.
Yeah.
This is a tractor.
Tractor controller. Let me see if
That's
I can find
crazy. I was thinking it was an actual toy tractor that had buttons on it. I don't know why, but this is okay.
this. Or farming simulator. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to send you a link, and you're going to love seeing this. Oh, this is really hard to find now. Never mind.
It's like people who get all, dolled up for their flight simulator,
Right.
but a tractor.
But a tractor. Yeah, it's like that. It's the flight sim people, they know what this is. They know what this pain is that they feel. But I'll try it and I'll report on the show how I think about it.
Scott, if you had to adopt one simulator game
Yeah.
to become like essentially your job, your new job was 8 hours a day, you were going to play this simulator game.
Yeah.
Which one would you choose?
Oh geez. If I had to?
Yeah.
Uh
You're going to be a farmer, a train driver, a trucker, a pilot.
How
probably
many different simulator games are there?
Lots.
Oh, so many. There's like those delivery ones that are just like cross-country truck driving stuff where you can just drive for hours. I don't know why people like those.
I think that's the one I'd pick if I had to do 8 hours a day. think
I mean,
it'd be
does it
that.
do
or flight?
Do
probably.
space simulators count? Can I count?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
you're not. No, real world.
Because
professions
I
like
do want to take space drugs to some plant space station. That sounds fun.
I mean, yeah, that is the right choice.
No, all right. I got your answer. Probably the farming one because I don't know why there's just a sense of productivity with that. Like you're not just working really hard. You really are generating like food and sustenance and
You're cultivating the land.
yeah. Plus it's just pretty and peaceful and.
Yeah.
Your neighbors are all 20 miles away from you, and I don't know. There's something about all that appeals to me. It always has.
Get a tan. Oh, do you think the people who buy like the tractor thing would get like some of those like lamps that are really intense, like tanning lamps?
Well, they would want to get full like sunburn and then get all leathery. And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Just
and like
set it up while they're playing. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
sun's real bright today. Got a lot I gotta get done. Come out red suspenders. Oh man, it'd be good. They should do that.
yeah, it's not
They
bad.
aren't getting the full simulator experience till they get one of those.
I'll tell you, there's a game that I expected to hate that I ended up playing way too long, and it was on Steam and it was super cheap. I think it was like $3 or something. So I was like, I'm going to try this. I may have even streamed it, but it's basically a forklift operator simulator, and you just ride a forklift around a warehouse, and it just keeps jumping around saying, "Take that box." And dump it over there, and then get this. It's random. You just never know what you're going to get, and it's the most repetitive thing. But I saw the fun in it. There's something in it that's
Yeah.
fun. There's something about moving that stuff around that's fun.
Did I
So,
tell
yeah,
you guys I had a
licensed
dream where
operators.
we were all forklift operators?
Hold on a minute. Bo just
No,
said
I
Bo
don't
just
remember
said
that.
he's licensed. What'd you say?
No, I said you need a license to
Oh,
operate
yeah,
a
yeah.
forklift.
No, you do. But John, what'd you say? You had a dream where you're all doing that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
This is what we did. We
Do we have
lived-
our own, or were we all
We
in the
lived
same
at
one?
we lived at like some weird giant like deluxe hotel thing, and our job we all had was forklift operators.
Really?
At the Atari
Yeah.
Hotel?
Well, it wasn't the Atari Hotel
Oh,
yet,
it's a
but
deluxe hotel.
we
sorry.
can rebrand it.
Yeah. You were moving low resolution cubes around if it was at the Atari.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but that was a dream.
That's
I had.
really weird.
Oh.
I don't think you've
Yeah.
told us that. I don't remember.
No, it's
hearing
good.
that.
It's kind of a wholesome dream.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Just,
better
you
than
know.
yeah. It's better than I had a dream where Bo and an emu got it on or whatever.
I can't tell which one's the emu and which one's the bow.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. All right. What else? Warcraft 3. Talked about that. Then I played a little bit of all of these things. I played a little bit of Nowhere Prophet, which is a very cool
What is this?
deck builder slash. I don't even know how to. I don't know how to compare this to anything. Okay, I'll just give you the quick of it. It's basically okay. So it's set in kind of a Mad Max future kind of thing, and you're the prophet of this group. I'm sorry, you're a hero that works for the prophet, but you're not as high up as the prophet. But
You're
you,
like Master Chief.
Is this a clay game?
no, but it looks like it, doesn't it? The art's very similar. This isn't that. The one you're thinking of is that other card thing they're making.
Okay, it's a different one.
Yeah,
Okay.
different game. So the way this thing works is you kind of do a little bit of Oregon Trail in that you've got to make these distances and survive these distances. You need food to do it, and you need hope, which is like another currency, because hope is all about surviving or whatever. And then you will have run-ins with bandits and things like this, and the fighting takes place with a card battle that's a lot like a combination of I don't know what to compare it to, but there's a little Hearthstone in there's a little Slay the Spire in there, but these minions you use to fight with, if they get killed once, they're on the injured list. If they get killed twice, they're dead and they're gone. So this has got roguelike stuff as well, where like Slay the Spire, if you don't beat the boss, you die and start over, but maybe you've got some currency you can go back and spend on your abilities to go out for a second time or whatever. It's very cool. That's a cool game. I'm barely scratching the surface of it. I was given a key and forgotten about it. And then the other day, Jeff Canada or somebody was raving about it again, and I went, I think I have that. I got to go play that. And I went and played it, and it's very cool. So I'm going to keep it that. I like that one a lot. And it's just a game you buy and it's all there. There's no card packs to buy or any stupid stuff like that. It's it's a video game ass video game, and I liked it a lot. It's an interesting combination of like these survival technique stuff, mechanics that are all card battle, which is very satisfying card game. I really like how that plays, and then this sort of manage your crew, keep everyone alive. Try not to lose too many people. There's diseases and stuff. You go to a shop and buy some better stuff. You can equip cool abilities on your hero card that benefit you while you're fighting. It's all sorts of stuff like that. It's very, very cool. Nowhere Prophet is the name.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you'd like it, Bo. Risk of Rain 2 went on sale and was only like $12 for a hot minute, and I finally picked that up. And I want to play that with friends. I want to get in there and rock it. So you guys should get that game, and we should play Risk of Rain 2 because it's very cool.
I agree. I remember us trying to play it. I think we tried to play it maybe even for the NVIDIA stream one day.
Oh, the old Risk of Rain.
We couldn't get it to work. Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, the original 2D one was like this 2D thing, and it was cool. Risk of Rain 2 is like full three-dimensional third-person shootery, and it's currently enjoying a overwhelmingly positive on Steam. It's very good. Every time I play it, I just think, this would be a fun team game.
Yeah, I think I'd like it. It seems really, really cool.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
It's very good. And it was on the cheap, so that was cool. And then I played a bunch more For the King, which we've all played together and separate. I just like For the King, and occasionally we'll just crack that open and play more. That game is great. I kind of want the Switch version so I can play it in bed, but whatever. But I do like For the King. That's a very good game. And a little WoW. Played a little Warcraft. Yeah, that's right. Got in there. Got the intro quest stuff done. Hung around with...
That's not a little WoW. Those intro quests go.
Yeah, they're long. But I hung out with Magni. Did that business. Got out there to... Yeah, flew all over the place. Met people. Flew back. Couple of portals. Took some portals. Yeah. That's kind of it. Did the invasion, first invasion there in Oldham, and now I'm. And then I got out of that and went and played my level 11 dwarf hunter, just for funsies because that sounded like fun. So I did that for a while, and that is the extent of my. Oh, one other game. Sorry, I'll brief mention because I haven't played a ton of it yet, but on Epic I still had a $10 coupon from the holiday over there, and you could use it. You could use it on anything, and for $20 they've had a game on there called Surviving the Aftermath. You may sense that I like post-apocalyptic things. Anyway, this game is a city builder set after it's basically a worldwide Holocaust. Everybody's wiped out from some horrendous war stuff, and then disease and famine and all that. So you're basically Mad Max time, but there are no zombies. There are none of that. It's just the world is destroyed and you got to try to band together survivors and make it happen again. And Bo, I thought of you immediately because the game plays a lot like that game you liked. Oh, what was it called? You were out in the forest. It was set in like the 1800s.
Banished.
Oh,
there's a lot
of. It's like what's it called?
It's called. Surviving the Aftermath. That's what it's called. And this is a Paradox game.
Something about this.
And Paradox is awesome. They make great games, and this is one of theirs.
You tweeted about this.
Yeah, you'd like this a lot. Like I thought.
Yeah,
here's my favorite part. I almost forgot.
Is it out or is it? I thought maybe it wasn't out yet.
It's in early access on Epic only. There's a couple of reasons why that may not be your favorite thing. But it's supposedly I would assume going everywhere when it's done. But it plays out a lot like a good city builder. All that stuff's there that you would expect. It's all very cool. Like instead of digging for gold like in a typical Age of Empires type thing or something or whatever, you've got guys out there digging through old plastic and metal and salvaging that stuff with like separate. They have a tent where people are just separating metal from plastic, and then you use that stuff for resources. And then you got other people scavenging for food. There's nuke waste everywhere, so you got to be careful of that. And then they have you figure out a way to rig up some old solar panels that only work in the day, but it's great for power, blah, blah, blah. So all that kind of cool stuff.
It kind of looks like it has the Civilization top-down aspect to it,
well,
right?
So that's the part I was going to tell you about. This is the weird thing. So you get into it a little ways, and now you're up on the overworld, and you have what's called a specialist. It's kind of like your best guy. And that's when you go into what looks like Civ mode. And he has to start with, he has 7 action points, movement and action points, and it's like a turn-based Civ game up top, where he's doing the long distance stuff. Like we're gonna go scout out that whole other zone and see what there's there. Oh, when he got there's a school and a hospital and also some old house. Okay, cool. Well, he needs time to refresh, so he's down now while his 7 points are gone, and now there's a timer. And when that timer's done, so you're busy working on your little local town again, and then all of a sudden, boom, and you go, oh, the timer's done. You hit M, and you go, pulls you out to this overworld again, and you can send him in there, and he can fight people, and they kind of have a Civ-style fight. He can pick up all these resources and eventually bring them back to the town, and it literally dumps him outside the town. So when you get back to your town view, all your little dudes run out to the gate and like grab all these containers of stuff that he brought and takes them back. It's very cool. Eventually can get
it sounds
cars.
Like it has a lot of nice touches to it, though.
Yeah, it's a great combination of a bunch of stuff, and it really got me pretty hard the night I played. I haven't had time to get back in, but I'm very excited to see how that thing continues to grow. And again, Paradox, they don't make bad games. They like nothing but good video games on PC. So I feel like
they make good video games. Sometimes they're hard to play, though.
Yeah, sometimes
I have Crusader Kings 2.
Yeah.
It's very hard to play.
It's sometimes their stuff's less approachable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like doesn't mean it's not good. It's just
Yeah.
It's really involving and, not.
Yeah. I would argue this
it
is definitely not that. This is very straightforward. It's not
looks like it's
simple.
on the surviving Mars side of things.
Yes, there's a good way of putting it. That's a good example.
Yeah.
It's a
Which
lot
I really
like that.
Surviving Mars.
Yeah, I think you'd dig it. I think you'd really like it. All right, John.
Yes.
How are you? What are you playing? What are you doing there?
Well, I already talked about it, but played some Warcraft 3 Reforged. Continuing to dive into World of Warcraft and their newest update. Kind of starting to lose interest a little bit in it. I'm starting to hit those gates that they've put up a little harder, and so I'm having a little harder time convincing myself to go quite as hard as I was. But I also made a little Vulpira that I've been running around on, a little Vulpira monk, and that's been fun. Other than that, the big thing of the day is I got a new monitor for my gaming rig, and it is replacing the ultra wide that I talked about on the show some time ago, back when I got that. And this one is not an ultra wide, and now I'm having a really hard time adapting. I can't decide if it's better to have a higher refresh rate, better quality monitor in that regard, or to go with the ultra wide. I'm kind of weighing the pros and cons of each, and I'm struggling to decide where I'm going to ultimately land on this.
Gotcha. Yeah. You sound like everyone I know.
The thing is I feel like ultra wide, if it was more readily adopted, and game makers
much more
were
standard. Yeah.
If it was standard, it would be amazing, because I feel like most people who get ultra wide immediately go, oh my gosh, why isn't this just how all video games are? Like, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get those games that don't take advantage of it, and you end up with weird HUDs and things that don't look right, or you have to go into weird patches to get it to work. And all of a sudden you're just putting in way more effort for this thing that's kind of a niche thing to begin with. And this is also the first monitor I've had in a long time with a really, really high refresh rate, which makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a hard time deciding what I'm going to do with it. It may end up being a case where I eventually have a computer for streaming and podcasting, or one computer for streaming and one computer for podcasting and things like that.
Why don't you dual monitor these two?
Right now I don't have room for it.
Oh,
I
okay.
will post move. I'll have a bigger desk, and I'll have the option where I could do that.
Okay.
There's always a bigger desk.
Yeah, but as of right now, it wouldn't fit. They both take up the entire thing. This monitor especially so. This monitor is, a thin, flat panel. It's actually curved, but the real estate that it takes up on my desk,
Yeah.
it might as well be a CTR monitor. Like, the amount of space this thing needs to live and breathe. Right now, you all can't really see it, but it's just very in my face.
Yeah.
And it feels like the monitor's being very aggressive with me.
Yeah, I had to get used to that with my 32 or whatever it is. 35, I don't know what it is.
You want to see my pixels, John?
It starts to feel like a TV. I don't want to see your pixels, Bo. That's gross.
Yeah, please
I didn't ask you.
No, you didn't. That's true.
I thought about it, but I've landed on no. Not right now.
There you go.
Maybe later.
Well, let us know how that goes, because we never talk about hardware, but that's always interesting to me.
Yeah, it's a fun upgrade, the monitor.
Bo,
You should wait to make a decision till like Doom comes out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good litmus test.
It
Because
Isn't
should
it?
be an ultra wide game.
Is
it would be, but it's also a game where a high refresh rate is going to be primo.
Yeah, actually, apparently, I was watching speedruns of it, and with the BFG, you do more damage, I think, with a higher frame rate, because it does damage per frames.
Oh, really?
that's
So
right.
one of the hacks for speedrunners is like having high solid frame rate, because you get.
I've
That's
never
actually
heard of
true
that.
in Resident Evil 2 Remake as well. The damage on the knife is based on your frame rate. So
Really?
if you have a high frame rate, you can just wreck things with knives.
Pay to freaking win. John.
Yeah, literally.
Well, what
Pay
they do
to win. Pay to win by Big Monitor.
Pay $400 to win.
Well, back when it was all about heroes, got the ultra wide so I could see more of the battlefield. Now that it's Resident Evil, got to get that high refresh rate for sweet knife kills.
Yeah,
Ultra wide, more like ultra pay to win.
sure.
That's right. Oh man, it was so nice. You should have seen Heroes on an ultra wide. It was a thing.
Oh, I bet it was amazing.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. I checked back into Ghost Recon. I always forget the name of the new one. The one that launched badly. People were
Wildlands,
mad.
Firelands.
Not Wirelands. Wildlands was the last one. The new one's Battlefront. Or no. Hold on. What is it? It's Ghost Recon Damaged. Dirty Bird.
Shabba-dabba-dia.
Breakpoint. Okay.
Did you do the Terminator stuff?
That's what I was going to get into. And I didn't get far enough because the show started, but I am going to actually crack that and see what's up with that Terminator business. Also, they fixed a ton of bugs, and it felt pretty good to be back in there. I like that game. I like what those Ghost Recon games are. They're like puzzle games in a weird way. And now with loot. But me trying to figure out how to get into a base and take out a ton of dudes and do it quietly and carefully or loudly, but do it well and not get chased down by drones. And like, there's just a lot. I like both of those games a lot. I thought Wildlands was amazing, and I really like this too. I just need them to keep tweaking at it because this thing it's still got a couple of problems. They fixed a lot of bugs. We'll see. I'll let you know how the Terminator
did they get Arnold for the Terminator?
His visage for at least one of them, yes, but there's a bunch of them. And,
no voice. Oh, a lot of people could be Terminators.
Well, I don't know if people can, but in the game you got to kill a bunch of them, and they all look a little. They all have different faces and stuff. But they're gonna
just grab you and be like, "You want to stick a knife in me? See what's going on in you?"
No, okay, that will not happen.
A shame.
But
he should be in the game. He
does agonizingly pull a giant red ball out of his nostril, so that's good.
Great. That's
different movie, but
Astamaz.
Yeah, I'm lately in the mood to watch Total Recall. Don't know why. Just I need it. I need to watch Total Recall. Is that weird?
Copenhagen, give these people air.
No, I get the impulse. Sometimes a good 80s movie or 90s movie. I don't think his name's
Copenhagen.
No, it's not. Yeah, I agreed, Bo. We should, you know what they need to do? They need to do that thing where Amazon Prime Video, well, they have it. I just don't have access to it. But I want to be one of the beta testers where you can watch Prime content with your audience, and it's not illegal. Like, it's legit. It's because it's through Amazon. Amazon owns Twitch. I want to do that because I just want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I think that.
So you want to be able to watch like the thing, but with other viewers,
but with people and with friends. Like, I could have you guys on. Yeah. We could sit and watch Total Recall, and then there would be a chat room the whole time, and we could just chat and talk and laugh, and it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would. Sign me up for that when that happens. Okay. That is an activity that I would love to do.
Content out of other people's content is all good and fun until somebody's making money and somebody isn't.
I'm going to reach out. I have a dude at Twitch who's supposed to be my kind of partner rep person. I'm just going to reach out and say, hey, how are those invites going? You guys want to send a couple? See what they do.
Yeah, you want to get maybe one of those invites falls off a truck.
And they're right. The chat room says
invites for what? The Amazon game? The MMO?
Yeah, no. Oh, no, I'm just saying for the invite for the video thing we were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you have to be. It's invite only right now for them to do that. It's a beta. I do want to know more about that Amazon MMO. I want to see what the frick that is. I don't have any. I haven't followed it that close, so there's probably a lot of info I don't know that's out there.
It's too early to judge, but the armor looks cool. And
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, they've been working on it forever, so maybe there's something there.
Have Amazons in it?
No, but the smile logo is on everything. I think that might be a bit much. Just kidding, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want every single piece of armor to look like I made it out of cardboard.
I mean, if you're saying that there's a transmog in there of nothing but like a Amazon branded cardboard box armor set, helmet and everything, I mean, if you're saying that's an option, I wouldn't turn it down.
So when I worked for a popular retail gaming store,
yeah.
When they sent out, I'm tying everything together. When they sent out Knights of the Old Republic, they sent more cardboard than is known to man. It was a giant box with a smaller box in it that then had multiple smaller boxes in that. Yeah. And they sent us a bunch of it. And I worked in a store that was right across the street from a mall that had another of that same store in it. And we got zero business So what we proceeded to do with that day is take all that cardboard we had and we assembled what can only be described as a suit of Iron Man armor out of it. It had a helmet. It had a moving jaw plate. When you talked, the jaw would move. It had a retractable arm blade via a little pin that you could pull on the arm and a blade would come out. It was some sweet cardboard.
Did you wear this and have pictures of this? Because I want to see this.
I wore it. Nobody took any pictures of it. But the worst part is, for a nerdy kid still trying to find a girl and have a good time, our store was located right next to a dance studio, and I made the amazing decision to wear the armor past the dance studio.
Oh, you didn't go in?
I've never been cooler than that moment right there.
You didn't go in? You didn't.
No, I was on my way to the dumpster to throw it away. It was the end of the day. We were done with it.
Wait, you wore it to the dumpster though?
Yeah, it was the easiest way to move it all. There were a lot of pieces.
It's like a full 8-hour shift. How many people? 3 people working on this thing.
I love that. That's very
24
funny.
hours of labor time.
The only other cool story that I can tell involving cardboard and that particular store is I was not working. Let me be clear. I was not an employee that brought a sword to work, but I did go into the store with a sword.
Wow.
And I bought a katana. I was an idiot. I was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
I bought a katana, so immediately I took it to work.
Yeah.
And showed everybody. It was like, look, I bought a katana, and everyone was, oh, that's amazing. We got to cut something with it. So that particular game store, whenever you were done with your standees, this was before they would do give them away as a pre-order bonus. You just toss those standees out. So we had a Madden standee that was scheduled to go into the dumpster of, Football Man. And they said, John, you got to cut the football standee. So I got out the sword, and I knew how to slightly use a katana, and I decided I was going to do vertical slice right down the center of Football Man.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I did. Started at the top, straight down the middle, all the way to one knee. I'm not making this up. Swear to you, this is what happened.
Who was the character that year? Or not character?
I don't know, because I don't know football people.
Okay.
It was a Football Man. So straight down to one knee, from top to bottom, hit the floor with a very satisfying clink.
Oh man.
The standee remains exactly as it was,
Yeah.
and then slowly splits into 2 pieces and falls on both sides of me.
That's
It was
great.
the most anime moment of my life. I was like, this is the coolest I will ever be.
Yeah, that's
Naturally.
Pretty good. You went Super Saiyan that day. Well done.
Yeah, that was the day.
Yeah, good job. Hey,
You still
Bo.
have that katana?
Oh,
Yeah, I do. It's at my parents' house, but yeah, I do.
hey, Bo. Did you play? You played all of Reforged, and for the first time, right?
Yeah, it's my first time playing Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Pretty much, period. I might have logged in somewhere in the past. I know my brother owned it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing the box at his house, and he really liked that game, and he likes few games. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I just never got around to it. So I never played it back in the day when it was relevant and new. It was like the 90s,
Yeah.
right?
No, 2003, but yeah.
2003?
Close.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think.
Warcraft 2, you may be thinking.
No, I'm thinking 3. It was
Okay.
definitely 3 because the boxes for that game they're distinct, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it Thrall and then Arthas and the other one? Like, it's
Yeah, they had Thrall on
Warcraft
one,
3.
Arthas on the other,
I
and
played
a Night
1 and
Elf.
2. I played 1 and 2 like in the day where they were launched. It was shareware stuff, and you
Mhm.
can get them. Yes, and 3 is I played 1 and 2, but just not 3. I was playing PlanetSide. I didn't have time for Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now I'm actually just playing it for the first time. And honestly, as someone who's playing it for the first time, it's kind of great that the graphics are good and not old, because it's hard to play old games when the graphics are old and poopy a lot of the time.
Right.
And I think the graphics are passable.
Yeah, they're fine.
I'm not gonna we're not talking like next gen cutting edge stuff, but we're talking they're pretty. Everything looks pretty cool, and the game itself stands up. It's at first I was like, the Thrall prologue is a little, hokey, and the gameplay is not too interesting. But as you start playing through the human campaign, the challenges start mounting. There's lots of cool new units. I'm playing the undead campaign now, and it's like I'm finding out all these things that are like cannibalize in World of Warcraft comes from the zombie units.
Yeah.
Which I don't think was a thing in Warcraft 1 or 2, is like uniquely to Warcraft 3. So there's all these abilities in Warcraft 3 that I'm like, oh, I recognize that from World of Warcraft. That's in World of Warcraft. Those like everything is like that for me, and I'm like, my mind is blowing because I never played Warcraft 3, so I'm like just loving it. Everything's like, oh, that's in World of Warcraft.
It's also the first game ever the Blizzard ever made that was rendered in 3D. They'd never had a 3D game before Warcraft 3.
Yeah, that's right, eh?
Yeah. Everything else is 2D before that, which
and it was
a
a
deal.
high watermark when it came out. Like I remember even looking at the images and stuff for it, thinking like, wow, this game looks pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, no, it was great for its day. It was real pretty. But and also I think the WoW engine still has bits and pieces of it that still belong to the Warcraft 3 engine. Like that was a converted. The WoW engine started as a converted Warcraft 3 engine, and they just kept working on it and tweaking it. And I think it's probably still got some of that legacy stuff in there, but.
At the very least, definitely still some icons hanging around.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that's weird to see that.
Immediately.
Some of those you see and you're like, oh my, I still have that on my hunter bar right now.
Yeah, I use that regularly.
Yeah, it's very odd, but
I will say the most striking thing about Warcraft 3 is the difference in our expectations about what a game is, really. So I feel like that in 2003 was like a prime example of a top game, right? Best in class RTS, a pinnacle of achievement. The storytelling's so simple. We're all expecting like our narratives in video games to be like Breaking Bad level, like just like dramatic works now and stuff like that. And you kind of forget that it didn't take much for us to be really excited about a game and say it had a sweet story when really it has like, very basic, right?
It's super basic, but it was so well executed and hadn't, and that was unheard of for an RTS or a strategy game or even a PC game up to that point. So they were able to take. I mean, we just gotten so much better at saying, all right, now we can do much more complex stories. The technology and the storytelling are matching better. But in its day, it was a pretty big accomplishment. But yeah, you're right. You see it now, and it's like Thrall just being, we've got to get our people out of here and off to Kalimdor. Like it's just super cheese bag.
It's really basic, but it still works. It still works. Like, it's not. I'm not saying it's a criticism. It's just neat to see the difference.
I remember, and it's funny to think of it from this perspective. I remember telling somebody, yeah, play through that human campaign. It's basically like watching the origins of Darth Vader, seeing as we're never going to see that.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely believed that at the time. I was like, yeah, this is how we're going to see Darth Vader's origin story, because that's kind of what Arthas is, It's
he's
fall from the light to the dark side.
That's basically the Anakin story in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
What I like, what was I going to say? I forgot. Oh, crap.
What you like?
I don't remember. I was going to say something about something to do with this.
Wow.
I know what it was. Did you get? I found myself almost laughing out loud on the stream when I got to the part where Thrall has been thrown in jail along with a bunch of troll dudes and some other stuff by the big Murloc King guy. And they're in jail. Yeah, the Murloc talks, number one.
The Murloc talks.
But they're in jail. This is the funny part. They're in jail. They're all locked in there, and the camera fades in, and they're sort of having this conversation. And he's on his wolf, his dire wolf thing. He's got his doom hammer. The other guy's got his giant sword, and two other guys have spears. And he's on the wolf, and they're just in the jail. Like in 2003, you just couldn't make them like stripped of their stuff. It was just, we still have all our stuff here in jail.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The realism doesn't matter because like even Arthas is huge size,
right? And
everyone else is normal size, which makes sense. He's the hero unit. You can see him better on the map. But even in the cutscenes, he's hero size. So like his sergeant is like up to his knee or something like that. He's like, "Sir, what are we gonna do?" And I'm like, I'm like, it's like he rules a kingdom of gnomes or something. It's it's like not realistic at all.
The one part I really truly forgot about was early in the game. There's a narrator that's doing tutorial work, and I forgot that was in there. And that guy really throws me. It's like,
Oh, he's the nerdiest. I thought they got an employee to record. I don't even know if that was in the original game.
Oh yeah, that was in there, and also
Is
press
it?
the Alt button in order to control.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move, click right to get to the
and
next thing.
keep in mind, like a lot of those guys were still just. I mean, Metzen was just an employee, and he does Thrall and three other characters.
Thrall can't move unless you click the ground.
Yeah.
Click the ground now to move the war chief.
Oh, it's so funny.
Okay, calm down. All right.
Slow down there, genius. I don't know if I can follow these directions.
It's just his voice is so unvoice acted.
Yeah.
Did
in
you-
any capacity? It's weird.
So I don't know if it's the regular line or if he did it because I moved technically before he had finished talking. But like when he was telling me to move him the first time and I right clicked while he was still talking and Thrall moved, he goes, "I can tell you're excited." I was like, "No, you can't. Shut up."
No, you
What
can't
is
tell I'm
this?
excited. No.
I can tell you're eager to get started. Let's
Yeah,
go.
There's a lot of
Just
that.
like, oh man, narrator guy, you're rough.
We like in 03, I was in this office I was working in, and me and two other guys like bolted out of there, went to Software Etc. Babbage's, or was probably GameStop by then, and we just first in line, man. We were like, we got to get this game, and we played. We had a LAN party all freaking night long, just all night long playing that game. And
You
I
guys
didn't
play
even
campaign or multiplayer.
multiplayer
custom
then.
game?
I played the campaign at home later, but in the office we played multiplayer. And the only thing I didn't like about it, and I still to this day I'm torn on it, even though it informed MOBAs from then on, like it's such an important and integral moment in gaming, how things branched out from it. But the hero system of like go kill stuff, level up, get things, take the gold back, spend it. Like the things that would become standards in MOBA games, including Heroes of the Storm, I didn't like when I first messed with them. Because in my head, it was like, no, man, Warcraft, StarCraft, that's just make dudes and let's take the army and let's go. This hero stuff is weird. I don't like it. I don't like spending time killing minions just for the heck of it. Like there's another player somewhere. He's going to kill me. How can I be off in the woods killing a Murloc when I should be off killing him? Like it just didn't. The hero units were not jiving with me.
Was it the hero units or the fact that they were leveling that bothered you?
Both of those things, which is weird because I love mechanics that are progression
I
based.
don't mind the hero units in the campaign, like when there's a story mission and you just
yeah.
gotta escort your zombies
Yeah,
around and
that's so fun.
narrative's happening. Like that's good, but like as part of the PvE experience, PvP experience,
Right.
I played one game during beta, and I just kind of died. I just turtled up and died.
I don't play.
I don't really
RTSs.
have an opinion, I guess is what I'm saying.
I don't do them anymore.
I've only played StarCraft 2 PvP and
right.
done okay.
Right.
It's been a long time since I played the mission where you have to like hole up for a certain amount of time. How long was it that you had to hold up or defend? For?
20
Was it-
minutes.
There's two. I've played two of them so far.
The first
actually.
one the one I did the other night was 20 minutes. It's too long.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
There's a 30-minute one later.
Okay, so here's the
yeah.
funny thing. This is maybe the greatest testament to me as a youth versus me as an adult. When I played that as a kid, that's what made me cheat on the game because I was like, 20 minutes, I'm gonna be here forever. Like I just had no scope of that, no understanding of that. I was just like, why don't you make me just do this for an eternity? What's going
Yeah,
on?
20 minutes.
Now
seems
as
like
an
a long
adult,
time.
I'm like, oh, 20 minutes, this will be a nice short little mission. We'll just get through it. Oh, 30 minutes, okay, even more doable. I can get a lot done in that 30
Well,
minutes.
it is more boring, like because they have those missions in StarCraft, but they're usually giving you bonus objectives to,
Right.
you have to make like a side squad and get them rolling around the map
Right.
while you're defending.
Yeah.
So it's like they've improved in that regard and how to keep you busy. Like that feedback, like it just sucks to be turtling up for 20 minutes. It's like
And I
'Cause that-
actually really liked how the second and third StarCraft 2 games, not expansions, whatever you want to call them, Heart of the Swarm and then the yellow person one. What was that called?
Protoss,
Protoss.
Legacy of the Void.
Legacy of the Void. Those two campaigns I liked more than the first one, the Wings of Liberty one, because they did less of the typical like do 50 of these guys, now defend it till the time's up. Like I don't really like that
Yeah.
stuff. What I
okay,
do,
yeah, that's true. They
like
tried,
rolling
they
around.
definitely tried to innovate with all their levels in both those.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
but I loved leveling. I loved rolling around with a hero and like half a dozen units and doing cool story stuff. Like I can, the massive army management and all that other stuff. You can do that multiplayer. I like single player that was more focused on like
Yeah.
A handful of stuff. Like the
Gotta
Thrall escaping from prison is a good example. That's great. I loved all that. Like that stuff's good. I wish that was more true of most RTSs, but sadly, I'm not. Really
The War 3 campaign is great. I mean, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So
Nice.
I don't know if a lot of people want to be angry about it. There's at least one happy person.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. And then tell me about your Clone Wars marathon. How'd that go?
Yeah, where you
Well,
at
I'm continuing on it. I'm on season 5 now.
Oh, you're gonna make it.
So-
You'll make it in time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll make it in time.
Okay.
When does it come out?
February.
February. I've got time. Yeah. I'll be there.
7th or something. Yeah, I forget.
Yeah. Because I'm marathoning Star Wars from front to back, so I have to take a little break if
Are
I
you
start
watching Clone Wars in chronological order or in...
Well, no. So I'm watching it chronologically in the sense that the way they're numbered
Yeah.
but I've learned since then that that's not the official ordering of the episodes because they were super disorganized and released them all in the wrong order.
Yeah.
So there's an actual from Star Wars itself, like canon sequential order to watch those in, and it's not even like they should put that on the Disney app, I would think.
Yeah, just like which order do you want to watch this in? The dumb
Original
order we
order or the
released
right
it in, or the one that makes actual sense?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing that, and I wish I was, but if I start now, I'll never catch up in time for the.
It's a lot to watch, and honestly, like there's a lot of. I mean, I love them. Just like how you're like, I love all my children, but it's kind of that feeling, right? You love them all, even though I watched 2 episodes of basically droids. Remember the droids cartoon?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, the stupid hijinks that C-3PO and R2.
C-3PO and R2-D2 accidentally save one culture, and none of the other clones believe that they did that. They're like, we saved the planet, and he's like, yeah, whatever, just shut up.
Yeah, it was bad.
C-3PO. And then there's a second one right after it where they meet pygmy guy, like not even pygmies, they're little tiny people, and they save them.
Doesn't R2 accidentally crush one of them?
Yeah, they do crush some of them too. Like but it's just like they're bumbling their way around and either destroying, or like raising civilizations or saving them, and they're awful. I mean, they're god awful.
Is there a new
and then
version?
it goes from that to, oh, here's a story about a Jedi who's lost it and has decided to secretly pit the clones against one another because he doesn't value their lives anymore. So he makes up lies about the enemy just to send them after one another. And you're like, holy hell, this is the same show where R2-D2 and C-3PO are attacked by pygmy people? Like,
hold on, is this the 80s? We're talking about the 80s one, right? The 80s droids cartoon, because there was one in the 80s.
Well, yeah, I was referencing the 80s one. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, it's just there's a couple episodes of Clone Wars that it's just the droids.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's just droids. There's like some interesting story happening. Nope, you're getting the droids.
Well, here
just
I'm
with them.
gonna play just a piece of the Star Wars Droids 1985 intro, just for fun. Here you go. Pretty rocking so far. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that song just brings back memories, dude.
Oh, geez. This is weird.
This is really bad.
Yeah, that's horrendous. Okay. I'm going to have to go look at more of that. I forgot what that was like.
It's a deep cut. You guys don't remember the droids. I'm shocked it's actually not on the Disney app.
Yeah.
I remember the droids toys. That was some of my favorite R2-D2 and C-3PO toys.
There may be a weird rights thing with that. Like some TV
Kenner
rights.
ones were kind of garbage.
Maybe.
Yeah. Old TV rights are weird. And Disney
I mean, it's probably not out of canon when they did the recanonization business.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a thing. And I remember as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah. I bought the cereal, the 3POs cereal. I had,
Oh, man. Yeah.
yeah.
There's no Legend of Zelda cereal, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I never did that. I ate all those. Where is it? The things. Oh, the Mario one that came with. Here it is. Oh, I can't reach it. Yes, I can. I don't know if you guys remember this. This is the Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Odyssey cereal, where he's got the hat, and it was basically, and it has this, all this stuff. Plus, it's an actual amiibo, so you scan the box.
Yeah, it's basically an amiibo.
Yeah, and there's an amiibo in there, but That's just a chip in the side of the box. But anyway, I ate them. They were just Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, not like the old days where it was actually a cereal.
Yeah, or
like its own unique thing.
The Heroes of the Storm one we got, the Renaults or whatever it is.
Well, those were literally Fruit Loops.
They were literally Fruit Loops. Like, straight up. They just reboxed them. I think they made a deal with Kellogg's or whatever. Or whoever makes them.
Well, yeah, because then there were Lucio's, which was its own cereal.
That's true, and I never did get those. Doesn't seem like you do that kind of stuff anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't happen very often.
Blizzard's
It happened a lot back in the day. I remember there used to be little tiny Mario soda pops.
Yeah.
And each character had their own flavor. It was in the days of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yep.
Back when Mario sounded the way he was supposed to.
Oh, I see. I don't know if I'm going to agree with you on that.
That's the best version of Mario. I don't like this positive, let's go.
Yeah.
Like I want him to sound like a New York City plumber. That's the best Mario. I want him to sound like Captain Lou Albano. There you go.
Okay.
I'm kind of with John on this one a little bit. Like,
I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong.
You're talking about the live action TV show, right? With the
yeah. Hey, paisanos, like that guy.
Yeah, that's Mario.
That's Mario.
I have good news for you guys. The entirety of Star Wars Droids is on YouTube.
Oh, that's okay.
Nice. I'm in trouble again. Beep, beep, boop, beep.
Oh, wow.
Trouble again.
Hey, R2. Oh, gosh. You guys, this is shit. It's really
Is
bad.
it?
Yeah. Oh.
Wait, give me a link. I was only able to find the opening, but
And
is there
does it look better or worse than the Happy Days cartoon?
It's worse than that. And that was pretty bad. So that tells you. Here, Bo, I'll put it in
Thanks,
Discord.
man.
No problem. It's really bad. Anyway, all right. That's gonna. Oh, and you saw. We all saw the Picard thing. In fact, episode's 2 out today. I guess I haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen either yet.
Oh, but you need to see it. It's great. It's great.
I want to.
It's so Picardy. It's so like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm so happy to have like a real the way that a Starfleet captain should be. Like, this isn't Walter White with all the should I be rooting for such a terrible person? Like, we don't need. We got plenty of anti-heroes out there. Picard is this pure, thing in a complicated universe, and I love him, and he's great in this. And if you don't like it, then don't at me, because it's very good.
I'm excited. I'm a huge Next Generation fan. I've had trouble with pretty much every other version of Star Trek that's come out, and so having Picard back makes me really happy.
Same.
Oh yeah, definitely watch this. It's good. This first episode was pretty great.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm very excited to see what today's episode's like, because I think we.
Oh, was it new one out today?
Yeah, today's the day. Yep.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, right. It was very good.
It was good. It was good. I was a little worried at first because that first scene, it just felt like something I didn't want to watch, but then it turned into something good.
Oh, that.
I don't want to spoil it for John.
Do you mean the tabletop moment? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
I had a feeling right away. It was like, wait a minute,
I was like, this feels like a modern show. It's gonna be about relationships and shit. Anyways, it went back to being Star Trek. It was great.
Yeah, and the preview for the rest of the season looked really good. Just when they showed all these little clips, and they showed a couple things that make me very excited. Yeah, it's paying a lot of fan service, but I don't care, man.
Oh, that thing at the end, the large thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
Don't know what to make of that yet. I mean, there's a lot of questions about why that's there. There's a lot to do. It's great. It's pulling all my strings. I'm in. I'm all in.
And they started off with a bang in a good way too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. Plus, the only part that really took me out of it, and this isn't a spoiler, is they spent a bunch of time at the Anaheim Convention Center pretending it's like Starfleet.
Oh, I saw that too.
I was about to say, does he go to BlizzCon in the first episode?
Basically,
Because I
yeah.
saw him go to BlizzCon in the trailer.
Yeah.
They've green screened out recognizable buildings, so you're like, I'll recognize like the interlock and the tables and like a pillar, but like the building in the background's like been painted over digitally with some other background,
big
like
space buildings and stuff like that.
You're like, the Anaheim Convention Center was there, but now it looks like some sort of background with this. But it's still like,
It's
I'm like,
still
I sat there at BlizzCon last year.
You may as well be eating your Bush burger while a freaking Reinhardt walks by.
Man, can you imagine if Picard did something at Bo's Bush Burger?
That would be amazing.
If only we knew each other, that would be a great Easter egg.
But John, you're gonna watch this and go, "Oh my gosh, that's the press line." I've been in that line. Those are the doors that they open when everyone comes rushing in and just about kills each other. Like all that stuff's there.
Really bad location to use. I think a lot of people go to the Anaheim Convention Center for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it's not just, and it's not even just BlizzCon, but that threw me a little bit. But actually, the content of the show and the acting and the story, it's transcended it. It worked out for me. I really like it. I like where they're going with it, and the cast seems really strong. So do check it out, John, and let us know what you think next week. Speaking of which, we'll be back next week with a whole new episode of Core. Thank you all for listening and hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. If you like the show, support us, or at least consider supporting us over at patreon.com/core show. You can do that right now if you want to. It's a piece of cake, super easy. Head on over there now and check it out. We thank you for all the support you've already given us, and we hope that more will join. That's patreon.com/core show. You can find us at frogpants.com/core. You can leave us voicemails at 801-471-0462. You can find us on Twitter at CorePod, John_Jagger. I'm at Scott Johnson, and Bo is at Bo Schwartz. We do this most Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/frogpants. So check it out. We'd love to have you here live. Thank you, live people, for being here. It's going to do it for us, for me, for Bo, for John. We'll see you next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Wesker.
Wesker.
Oh my
you want to
God.
take the gum out of your mouth before you
Dude,
record that line?
Dude.
What?
This episode of Droids,
Yeah.
The Revenge of Kybo Ren.
What?
It's.
Are you kidding?
I just linked it. I shit you not. The Revenge.